list.
Like that's dumb. All right.
All right. Now
Okay,
we're gonna actually.
Here's what we're gonna
have
do
to-
before we. Okay, so here's our tier list: S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Because there's
22
nothing really in
movies.
F tier. Okay, let's.
There could be
There's 22 in total.
There's
22
22 movies right
22 movies. Okay, but here's what we're gonna do. We have to write them all out first,
now.
so we know.
Let's do it movie by release.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no.
The
Well,
release.
that's what I'm gonna write down. There's 22.
There's 22.
I can name them all at the top of my head.
Oh, okay,
So
I'm-
can name them, sure.
I can. I'm gonna try to write them from memory, and you guys.
Iron
will...
Man, The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
Okay, well, I'm just. making sure.
Just let me know if I missed something. There's 22, including Endgame. Okay.
Yes. The Incredible Hulk, then Iron Man 2.
And then Thor.
I'm saying it for the microphone so
Okay.
they can hear what you're writing. Captain America, First Avenger,
Yep. And then.
The Avengers.
Yep.
Son, I'm here to talk to you about the fuck you initiative. What the fuck do you mean? Alright.
Iron
Iron
Man
Man
3.
3,
Yep.
Thor the Dark World,
The Dank World.
Thor the Dick World, Captain America,
Winter Soldier.
Winter
Yeah.
Soldier.
Well, I'll do Guardians of the Galaxy and then Winter Soldier.
What? No.
No,
That's
no,
not the
you
order.
doofus! It's not Guardians of the Galaxy. It's Captain America, then Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, it doesn't matter as long as it's written down. And this, let's not get so OC. One.
Come on, you can't do that.
You fucked it up, John.
Like you fucked up your year with putting that fucking rock.
And then Avengers, and then Ant-Man.
Okay.
Age of Ultron. Ant-Man, Civil War.
Ant-Man, Civil War.
John, you're making that noise when you're writing.
And then after Civil War
It's
is
Doctor
Guardians.
Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange and then Guardians
Then
2.
Guardians, Volume 2. And then Spider-Man.
Or
Yeah,
are we-
Spider-Man.
and then Thor.
Yep.
And then Black Panther.
Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man the Wasp.
Oh,
Captain
Hold on.
Hold on,
Guardians, Spider-Man.
You almost wrote Spirit.
Spirit-Man.
Spiriter Man.
Thor.
Black Panther.
Panther.
And then
Infinity War.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, and then Captain Marvel.
Did you see Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I've seen it. He has.
Okay.
But I had no desire to.
Yeah, so that's
Because
just
from
gonna
what
be
I
up,
heard from my friends...
it's gonna be up to me and John to decide where that goes.
Yeah, so we'll do this.
We'll do it in order.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's
Why
rip
did
it.
you
hold
skip
on.
one?
I missed writing Ant-Man and Wasp.
Okay.
Okay, let's count to make sure I didn't miss any.
No, we're fine. We got them all.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we got them all. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, John, make that tier list.
We should. Okay, I'm gonna think. Okay, there's 22. I want to make sure that I have equal spacing for most of them. I'll put at least. I'll restrict S tier to 5 or
No, there's
S-
not that
there's
many
not
S tier
that many.
movies.
5.
tier
I'll put
movies.
4 just to be safe, and then everything else 5 or 6. I'll put 6 just to be safe for every.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter because we can just write them next to it.
All right then.
It's going to be... I don't know. Gosh.
We actually have to
There's a lot of movies that you guys...
I've seen most of them though.
I've seen all of them.
I've seen all of them.
Okay, so let's start with... Okay,
Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie.
here's what we'll do, John.
Let's rip it off. Just rip it off. First Iron Man movie.
First Iron Man movie
Okay.
I think is very good.
I love
It's a great kicker. It's a great
Yeah,
kickoff
it's-
to the
it's
series.
wonderful.
I think it has
But-
an excellent
but-
origin story.
Yes,
and
I do
establishes
too.
character
I
very
do too. But there have been many better movies that Marvel has made after it.
I would
Once
say,
they improved their formula.
I would say it's an A.
I'd say that it's the
because-
best one out of entirety of Phase 1.
Because
Before
No.
Avengers. Oh, well, Avengers is Phase 1? Okay,
Avengers
pre-Avengers.
is Phase 1.
out of the
Avengers.
pre-Avengers films, it's the best out of the first Avengers. You
think so?
Out of Phase 1.
Yeah, and I think
I
it
really
is...
like Captain America.
You gotta think about the time, the time period that Iron Man came out. It was just rolling off the back of Spider-Man 3. Okay, so
yeah, Spider-Man 3, which had mixed
which
reception.
everybody was sick of superhero movies at that point.
So Iron Man showed
It
that
was-
it's not only a great superhero movie, but just a great movie in general, which I think makes
Just-
it a clear-cut A tier.
Just look about if you look at the superhero movies from 2000 to
I'm
all
just
the way
reluctant to put it in A tier
2007.
because there's so many movies that will come after that I think deserve the A tier spot.
Yeah,
It's
but
hard-
there's a lot of cool... But there's a lot that's going to be in... the ones that you're thinking of that are much better will be in S tier.
No,
think
John,
about
there are ones that are better that aren't in S tier.
everything
Like
about
I'd say I like Guardians of the Galaxy more than the original Iron Man. I think
Well,
it's more funny. I think it's
Yeah, but I think both
but I don't
of
think
those
that's
could
an
be-
S tier movie.
Yeah. I think that Iron Man is an A tier movie.
yeah, I'd say
Okay.
an A tier.
Okay, put it in A.
Alright, so Iron Man is in A.
Now,
And the Incredible Hulk can go into D tier.
yeah, that's
It's because first of all because it's Edward
not
Norton
it's not
instead of Mark Ruffalo, but that's not even the biggest problem with it. It's that the way he portrayed Hulk just makes him the way he portrays Bruce Banner just makes him a sad, egotistical dick the entire
Yeah.
time. Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner is fun. He's goofy. He has his dark side, and he's sometimes
Yeah.
sad, but he's not always just fucking. Oh, I hate everything. I'm the most unlucky person. Woe
Plus,
is me.
I mean, plus Universal was strong-armed by Marvel Studios to make it into the MCU. So everything from the connection to Stark Industries and everything else, like S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, it was just shoehorned in. Because The Incredible Hulk was actually written to be a sequel to the 2003 Hulk film.
Well,
So we could all settle for D tier.
Yeah,
for
I
that
did
one.
say
D tier. It's
For D tier.
it's
Now,
not. It's
on-
one of the worst MCU.
Now, on to Iron Man 2. Definitely a step down from Iron Man 1.
I still enjoyed it, goddammit.
It's still a very enjoyable film.
It
its biggest
introduces
crime-
two very key characters to the rest of the series too.
Yeah,
with,
Black Widow.
I mean, I
and
guess
War Machine.
Rhodey was technically in the first Iron Man, but
But we
then he
don't
wasn't
count
even the
Terrence
same
Howard,
actor
yeah.
because he
Yeah.
wasn't.
However, just because it introduces a character does not make the movie super great.
No, of
because I
course
think
not.
the biggest problem that this movie had was a very, very forgettable plot.
It was pretty.
There were moments that I thoroughly enjoyed.
There was a lot.
I
of
like
good
the
in it.
somewhat- I like the somewhat tension of
like
him
the
dying.
the casting. They chose for Justin Hammer in particular.
Yeah.
he is perfect for Justin Hammer. It is exactly what I picture Justin Hammer as.
Yeah, Justin Hammer's definitely one of the highlights.
I also thoroughly enjoyed his Tony Stark's finding the suitable the new element.
Yeah,
'Cause
Yeah,
that's,
that
that's a cool
it
little
made him-
montage scene.
It made him rethink what his dad actually who
Yeah,
his
like
dad was.
how his dad actually, because he always just thought of his dad as like this guy who was super tough on him, but then he realized that his dad cared. He just didn't know how to show it.
It's revisited in
Yes,
a game.
It is. It's revisited in Endgame.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
it's just really good development for
It's revisited
Tony Stark.
in a few of the movies.
I think that just Tony Stark is one of the best characters in the whole franchise, and this movie really
If
highlights
Tony
that.
Stark was not
I think
in
that
the movie.
Vargo, however, was a very weak villain.
You mean Vanko?
Vanko?
Yeah.
Well, Vanko's
Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash was not a very.
Yeah, it was
cool
just
villain.
kind of like, okay, we
it
get
was
it.
a
He's
repeat
Russian.
of Iron Man 1.
So
Yeah.
in general, it's a fun movie. Not the most memorable.
Not the most-
I'd
I'd say
say
B.
B tier.
B tier.
Yeah. A lot of people would put in C tier, but I think
No,
that-
no, it doesn't deserve C tier.
Yeah, definitely better than that.
Thor.
Thor
may deserve C tier.
Yeah.
Because
Thor is a really confusing film
Those-
to me.
Because he's such a dick, and it's
those-
not fun to watch. I get that that's the entire point, is
Yeah.
that he's a dick, and he needs to learn not to be. But, he's a dick for too long.
Yeah.
Even
And
after
his-
he's not a dick,
and
he's
his-
still a dick.
And his bleached eyebrows.
Yeah, that is bad.
Granted, there are movies similar to that future in the MCU, but I feel like they have better execution than Thor did.
Thor, I will say, is C. But But it does do a good job of kicking off Thor, and like that part where he's going through the freaking facility to get his hammer. That is the best part. It is a good part of that movie.
It also
However, the whole
It
film
also
can't-
introduced Hawkeye. That's
it
right.
can't carry the whole movie.
Yeah,
But it can't carry the. I'd say C.
Yeah,
also,
C2.
Natalie Portman's.
She is. So
All
yeah,
right,
C.
now talking about Captain America:
Okay,
First
a lot of people
Avengers.
don't
I'm a
like
very-
Captain
this
America.
is this is
I
one
am
I'm
an
personally
apologist
torn
for
on.
this movie. I am a big apologist for this movie.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so
It
I'll
means
mention
you
this.
like it.
I
even-
like it when everybody else hates
No,
it.
I like that movie.
No, I
It's-
think that this movie is a lot better than when I watched it when it
I
first
think
came
it
out.
is. I think it is the best origin stories. Like Iron Man 1 may be a better movie than it, but I think it has the best origin story.
Steve
like,
Rogers-
showing his struggles,
Yeah.
like how he wants to fight and he can't, and how he's a smart kid, but he just can't because of how sickly he is.
Yeah.
You see that he's still a 90-pound kid when he post Super Soldier Serum.
because he's like, oh fuck, wow.
Yeah, the part where Peggy touches his pec.
Yeah, and then he goes, oh.
he's like,
Yeah,
It's-
but he has a really strong sense of justice, and I think this movie did a good job establishing.
It also did a good job introducing
Character.
the Tesseract.
it establishes his trust in the system, which plays a very important part
Which
later.
it breaks later on.
I feel like this film. The more we talk about it, I think I realize that we like the film a lot more than we originally did.
I'd say A for.
Yeah,
I'd say solid.
Solid A for
yeah,
Cap.
A.
Yeah, I think this movie is super underrated.
Now,
the Avengers.
The
Okay,
Avengers.
so at first, incredible movie, but I went back and rewatched it a little while ago after watching Endgame, and I'm like, wow, this is really boring and hard to get through, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's like, I get it, they have to get to know each other, but like, there's too much fighting between them that's not like.
It's a weird, because Joss Whedon, as a director and a screenwriter, he understands the characters.
Yeah.
But he doesn't take all the character. He only takes parts of the characters and amplifies that part of the character. So Tony Stark, instead of being a normal human being, he comes out as a babbling
pretentious
douchebag.
asshole.
Exactly.
Also, this
And
is the only Mark Ruffalo movie where he's not like a fun guy.
Mark Ruffalo, I like Mark.
He is. He's a good Hulk in that movie, but like
Mark Ruffalo is the only person that's actually good in the movie. I think he's
So,
the only good actor.
I feel like what this
who
film
played the part perfectly.
What this film falls short of in
I
terms
think he's too dark.
of
You know, I guess that
individual-
is character development that he
Yeah.
gets a little bit more happy and like later as he's with the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. What this movie might fall short of in terms of character depth, it succeeds with character interactions.
Yes, the character interactions are very
And this
good.
film made me really love Loki.
Loki is great in the
Yeah.
film. You gotta
Honestly,
give Loki.
I feel like
and you know what? That part where that guy stands up and like it's like the Hitler. It's
Yeah.
like a Hitler. That is a good part of the movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good in the movie. It seems like
It's
we're
just-
focusing on the bad parts. 'Cause
Well, I think it's
the
because
part where they're
it's-
saving the helicarrier.
Yeah.
That's a fun part. That's a good part.
Yeah,
of
and
the
the
movie.
action is really good. It's really good tension. It's a really good payoff for all of the
Yeah, for
Avengers
the
coming
weight
together.
of all of that.
terms-
So
In-
I'd say that while the film has some weaknesses that prevent it from being S tier, I feel like the positives of this movie
Definitely outweigh
elevated
the
to A.
But I don't like the composition, but how the lighting is in the film, it's
Also,
a very
the-
hard movie to look at.
Also, it does not have a great soundtrack. Like music
I
score.
love
It's
the
got
Avengers.
it's got the Avengers
I
theme.
love the first Avengers movie soundtrack.
Yeah, it's only the only song I can think of from the first Avengers.
Endgame
movie.
has the best soundtrack out of all
Endgame.
of them.
The
Obviously,
thing with movie soundtracks is, admittedly,
maybe
I'm
Infinity War has a great one.
I'm
too.
very oblivious to movie soundtracks unless
until
it's really
you
good.
until you actually hear it, like you hear it in the movie. And
I'd say put it in A.
yeah,
Put Avengers in A.
But-
Because it's a good movie.
yeah. I mean, it's just characters and how they act around each other. It's just so different. And you look at Captain America, and he's like, from the jump from the first Avenger to the first Avengers movie, it's a huge jump, and they just are. It's two totally different characters.
Yeah,
they're two
practically.
totally different characters. One's campy and obnoxious, and is like, "Oh, I'm from the '40s," and the other one's fighting in
one's-
World War II.
Yeah, it's just, but it doesn't make him bad because you feel bad for him.
He
Like,
feels like
he had a date.
He feels like Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
an Indiana Jones character.
Okay.
Iron Man 3.
3. Hey, douchebag, pay attention.
Yeah, I'm looking at the summary for Iron Man 3 just so I can remember.
You don't remember
some
it?
plot- Well,
Don't remember.
I'm just trying to refresh myself on some plot points.
Iron Man
see.
3, Shane Black. It invokes more kiss kiss bang bang than Iron Man.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I like obviously the best part of the movie is when all of his fucking suits come.
I know,
That
I mean-
that is fan service to the max, and I'm
Yeah,
okay with
the
that.
Mandarin.
It's
There were some.
The
funny
Mandarin,
moments.
you know what
The
the
Mandarin-
Mandarin,
I love
the Mandarin
Trevor
being a fake villain. That's a good point.
Oh yeah,
Who
with
they,
that
who
dude.
they replaced him with was
Yeah,
not
fucking
really the
AIM
great.
dude or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd say
I'd say
B-tier
B
again.
tier right next to Iron
B
Man
tier.
2.
Yeah.
It's
Which one do you think is better, Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3?
I honestly
I'd
think
say 2.
2.
I'd like 2 more than
2 is
3.
better. But 3 isn't bad. It's
3
Yeah,
is not bad.
3 is
a
a
lot of
good
people
movie.
hate 3, but I like
Okay.
3.
Because the way I see it is
The
that
big-
S is like
on, we're not
masterpiece
done.
tier.
Yeah,
A
masterpiece
is
tier.
great. B is good. C is decent, and D is
Like god-awful.
bad.
Is-
well, not
it's
god
not-
awful.
it's not god-awful.
Just not good, like
Not
bad.
I don't think there's been a god awful Marvel movie.
No, I think
there are some that
there
are just
are
like
gonna
okay.
be.
I'd say that D is poor, C is okay, B is good, A is great, S is phenomenal.
S is phenomenal. Okay, Thor: The Dark World.
I have a very big disagreement with you too about this one.
I think C.
I need to look at the article just to refresh what
because
happened.
Thor:
in
The
that one.
Dark World.
This is one with the Reality Stone, right?
It's a post of
Yeah.
it's a post Avengers. It's a post Avengers movie. I like Loki in Thor: The Dark World more than I like him in the Avengers.
I do too. He's a fun
I
character.
think Loki in
but
I think
Thor
Loki,
himself and Natalie Portman
Loki-
are not fun characters. It's
Okay,
such
first
a
of all,
boring movie.
Natalie Portman is unconscious for half the time.
I know,
Okay,
but it's a boring. I hate how the entire plot point is. Oh, she's sick. We have to
That's
help
not-
her. Oh
looking
no,
back,
the dark elves have
looking
come.
looking back at it from seeing Endgame, I don't think it was as bad as people thought it was.
No, I don't think it, I
Because-
would have put it in D if we had done this before I'd seen Endgame and then watched that again. But I don't think it's. I think it's C.
Okay, I can
thi-
agree
it's-
with C tier.
I think it's C tier.
I still think it's better than the first Thor movie.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's
because-
better than C tier.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, when was the Reality Stone used in this? Because this is the movie that I know
A lot.
the least about.
It was
out
used
of
a lot.
out of okay. First of all, one of my major gripes with Thor: The Dark World is how Malekith used the Reality
Yeah,
Stone
as not actually
as
the
not
Reality Stone.
really what it was supposed to
Yeah, it
be used
didn't really-
as.
But whatever.
No,
You
Thor:
know,
The Dark World C tier.
If Malekith used the Reality Stone the way it was supposed to be used, it would have been a
Did
way
they
better
know it
film.
was going to be the Reality Stone at that time?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Yeah, because at the end of the movie they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we can't have 2 Infinity Stones in one place."
Now, Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, Guardians of the Galaxy came out after.
Okay,
Winter Soldier.
Captain
Soldier.
America: Winter,
Winter
Soldier.
Soldier.
Winter
Now
Soldier
we're
is
getting into
S
some
tier.
really
Winter Soldier
good
is S
shit.
tier.
I
But
mean,
let's discuss why.
Because it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, but more. We have to discuss in depth.
Okay.
about
It's
why
not-
it
It's
makes
perfect.
sense.
not a-
It starts off by showing Captain America adjusting to the world.
Yeah, and that's really great. And
He
also,
has that notebook with
you
all that
remember
stuff
the
in
kick?
it.
And
The-
I also
like the
love-
first kick of Cap just kicking him off the fucking ball.
Yes.
Immediately when I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Also, the
Captain-
plot is very compelling, with Shield being compromised, with Hydra
It made him-
still growing in the
shows-
shadows
yeah.
for 70 years.
Yes,
It
that
made
shows
him-
it. That
it
makes
made
it
him-
really good. The entire like you don't know who to trust kind of
it's
thing.
kind of it kind of changes Cap as a character
It-
because
it matures him to not like I'm super patriotic to now I must protect people.
yeah,
That's what it
his,
is now.
His view of protecting people and doing
Doing
trusting
the right
government with it changes.
thing. This is where he starts to
drastically.
not trust the government.
Yeah, and funny thing about Winter Soldier, the Russo brothers did not like Captain America as a character. They did not like him. So they had to. So what they did was they
They
decided.
changed him.
No,
They
they
made
didn't.
him
No,
better.
no, they took elements from an action flick, and it's pretty much an action flick, but with superheroes. Mm-hmm. His
Also, Falcon's introduction.
Falcon's
pretty
is
great.
Falcon is a better sidekick than War Machine.
Yes, obviously.
Okay,
Because
War
he's got
Machine-
personality. War Machine does get personality, but he
Yeah,
does not
but
have it until
it's-
the Avengers movies where he's shown.
Yeah, I know. He's
Yeah, because he's just military guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in Iron Man 3, he has a little bit of personality. But then when in Iron Man 2, he's just like, I'm your friend, now I'm angry, now I'm
Yeah.
not.
It really
That's Iron Man 2,
that
sorry.
sums it up really well.
Yeah, and then but in Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame,
Oh, he gets
Rhodey has personality, and
Yeah.
he's a fun character. He's kind of like a jokester and kind of like questions a few things. That,
He
like,
gets his personality in Civil War, but we'll talk about
oh yeah,
that later.
I forgot he was in Civil War. Which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot he was in there. Okay, but we're not done talking about
And not
Winter
to mention
Soldier
some
yet.
twists really threw me. Like I remember
I saw-
Nick Fury really played with my emotions.
Yeah, with being
Nick
when you
Fury
thought
was kind
that
of-
car chase scene was awesome.
Oh yeah.
With the one thing that really griped me, they had to use the voice of the guy from Ancient Aliens, the guy who narrates Ancient Aliens, as the voice for his car. I was like,
Come on,
really?
it's fine.
Come on!
It's fine.
And I think everyone loved seeing Bucky back, even though he was brainwashed.
It was
also-
very obvious that it was going to be Bucky.
Well, obviously,
I
'cause
mean, I
everyone
knew the
knew-
Winter
'cause that-
Soldier was.
Well, because in the comics, that's who the Winter Soldier
Yeah.
is Bucky.
Well,
Well,
I knew back.
I had not read the comics, but even then I figured it
I
out.
knew in 2011 when Bucky was killed. I knew
But
he
they
was
wouldn't
going to
actually
come
kill him?
back. I knew he wasn't going to actually die. I knew he was going to come back as the Winter Soldier because
That's
That's-
freaking plot.
I
of
like the
movie.
Winter Soldier storyline. I
do
love that
too.
storyline.
And I like how his mind is like as he grows through the movies, and
Yeah.
his mind coming back, like he starts to remember things.
Yeah.
And he's still got some issues, but
Yeah.
he's working through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he wants to keep people safe. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, when another movie, but we're not done talking about Winter Soldier yet. It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
too many things we have to talk.
It sets up Ultron.
It does. The final scene the final attack where they're the three helicarriers.
Yes.
That is such a cool ending to the movie.
We're
Like,
also seeing
It also
like,
made Iron Man 2 good too.
also this is a more minor detail, but seeing like underneath Nick Fury's eye patch is
yes, yeah, and seeing that was what you and seeing people that we've seen and we've like grown to trust actually be Hydra agents, like the Senator or Agent Sitwell, who was in Avengers, and
Yeah.
everyone thought he
And
was
based
like,
on their mannerisms, you could see when we were watching Iron Man 2 last night, we could see some mannerisms of the Senator's dislike of Tony Stark, that there is something off about the guy.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And Maria Hill. So Maria Hill kicks ass in that movie.
Yeah.
She is
Oh,
such...
so does Black Widow.
Yes,
I
I know. But
It's still
everyone,
played by
but you
Scarlett
know, Black
Johansson.
Widow kicks ass in every movie she's
Yeah.
in, and so does Maria Hill.
Yeah.
But like in Avengers, she's just kind of a support character.
Yeah.
This one,
She's
she's support, but she's
Yeah.
kick ass.
yeah.
And now
Is that with
I
done with
I
Winter
think
Soldier?
Yeah,
That's
we-
S tier. That is our first S tier movie. It is
Yeah,
just so good.
and now for another real good one, not quite
Guardians of the
as good.
Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy is
I
just a
put the-
fun movie. I've
I-
watched
It's a
this
fun
the most.
movie.
When I saw this, when I did not see it coming. But I also did I was
I
all
enjoyed
for
it. I
was
enjoyed
all
the
for
movie
it
in the
when it was
theater when I saw
announced.
it.
It was just like a fun movie to watch, but this
Okay.
is also really relevant.
I told
because
you. I watched Guardians a few days ago, the first one, and then the second one after. Drax is the most useless character in that movie. There, he is like it feels like he's shoehorned in there because, like the only thing he does, he doesn't help at all.
The only thing he wanted to do was kill Ronan.
I know.
yeah,
But
even then he
does
was a bit
have-
of a
he does
liability
have
when he was
some-
in nowhere.
He does have some emotional moments in the movie.
He does. Yes, there are some
And
good things about him. And I
I
like
en-
Drax. I actually
I
do.
enjoy-
but there's
I
just
like
too
him.
many
I
good
like him in. I
scenes.
like him in Guardians 2, and I like him in Infinity War.
I absolutely love how the exposition that they have for the Infinity Stones, which we hadn't seen
Yeah, they
before.
finally talk about the
And
they
the
actually
Power
go
Stone
into the Infinity
and the
Stones.
Power Stone being like incredibly powerful. Like I was scared about the thought of them touching it because of
what happened to that girl.
and also the people, the Titans that created the
Yeah.
Infinity Stones, how they destroyed themselves with the Power Stone.
Yeah, and also the fucking they showed Howard the Duck in the movie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty fun. That's a good.
I'd
Yeah,
say-
there's a lot of it
I
balanced
think-
comedy and serious pretty
Yes,
well.
It's
it was
very-
the first comedy Marvel movie.
If
Yeah.
you think about how Marvel, when I saw it, I was all for it.
Yeah,
that
me
was
too.
that was kind of like my thing when I first saw it. I was like, okay, this is a lot of people were saying, oh, this is going to be Marvel's first flop, and I was like, no, this is not.
No, because when this movie came out, everyone was talking about it. Everyone was loving about it. People
Because
were
they
quoting
weren't
it.
expecting it
They
to
weren't
be as
people-
good as it was.
Yeah, and that's what
and
makes
then
it
it
good.
was good.
And then
it
people
was-
were
and-
mimicking the scene,
Yeah.
like when Quill was in.
But
like, the...
here's the thing, I don't know if we can give it A rank.
I
think there are too many movies that are better than it to give
no.
it A rank.
I think it's good enough.
I think
one
a
of-
B
some
rank
ways.
is
I wouldn't put it in B,
No, 'cause-
considering that we have one other Guardians.
Not to
movie
mention, I think
that
it's
we
the
have
fir-
to
it's
talk
the
about.
Guardians.
first,
I like Guardians 2 more,
I
actually.
prefer Guardians 1 over
I think
Guardians.
I like them being established as a team.
His
Okay, you know what?
Peter Quill's relationship with his mom is more emotionally connecting than his connection with his dad.
Well, but then he
And I
pissed at his dad.
thoroughly enjoy.
All right, you know
the
what?
We're not
story
talking
of
about
it.
Guardians 2 yet.
We can
I
put it
think-
in A.
Yeah, I think A
I
tier
think
because
A
even
is
though
perfect.
it's not good in the epic ways like these are, it's good in its own ways
It's
to
good in its
justify
own
an A.
What's after that?
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, B. Just saying it off the
It's
bat, B.
very
B,
hard
B
to
tier.
tell because
There's a lot of great things
looked
about it.
I watched it again,
I did too, recently.
and I could get through it.
I could too.
I got through it better than I did than the Avengers.
Yes.
I remember you were once an apologist of the movie.
I love Age of Ultron. I don't know. Ultron to me is a character. He is besides Thanos. Ultron is the #1 Avengers villain. He is the villain of the Avengers. Like if there's a coin, the Avenger they're two sides of the same coin. All right, wherever the Avengers are, Ultron is gonna follow.
Yeah.
It's just the way they executed it was god awful.
Also-
but it wasn't Joss Whedon's fault.
They also, it really, really bothered me that Tony Stark and Bruce Banner made Ultron.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
at the same
have a
time,
problem with
it was part of
It
their.
was-
Especially
it was,
when they introduced Ant-Man literally the next fucking movie.
It was.
wasn't-
Well, here's the thing. It was really key in developing Tony Stark's
It
character
was.
because he
And
felt
it was
very
also,
guilty.
It was also key in Vision's character.
Yeah, and also
And
it
also
was
key
really
in
important in
Cap's
setting up Civil
character
War.
in Civil War.
Yes, it was.
There was a lot of setting up in Civil War, and also a lot of setup for Infinity War.
That being said, there were a lot of scenes that just slowed the movie down, such as Hulk's rampage in the Ivory
I actually
love
like.
that
I
scene.
actually.
I
It's cool to
love-
see the Hulkbuster, but it is also like
Yeah.
it's padding. I guess.
Like it's
Yeah.
padding. Like I
'Cause
enjoyed
it's
watching
just a
it,
CGI
but I
fest.
was kind of annoyed that nothing was really happening.
I do like. Yeah, because it was just padding at that point. It's like
Yeah.
this doesn't need to be
like it was
like,
okay padding. Like it was fun padding to
I
watch.
do
but
like that they
on
made
a second watch
okay,
through. It's not as good.
Here's what I will say: they made Hawkeye an actual character.
Yeah, and also
That's what I like about it is that they actually gave Hawkeye a
also
Well,
made it
personality.
a
keep
better-
in mind, like in Avengers, Hawkeye was brainwashed
Yes,
for
I
half
know,
of it.
but you don't get to see any personality after
Yeah.
That's
that,
true.
except for that he wants revenge on Loki.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and not to mention his family. We get
Yes,
to see
yeah,
his
you get to
family
see his
for the
family.
first time.
My thing with Age of Ultron though is it's a better looking film. It's a better made film. They had a budget with it, and it just bothered me that they didn't use the budget
Yeah,
correctly.
it's
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of weaknesses in plot points.
I
I know that Quicksilver's death was really
Quicksilver was
I
going.
feel-
Quicksilver was always in the running to die. Every version of the script that they wrote, and no matter how much I hate the fact that they killed him,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I just
It
feel like
also
they
it-
kind of
it-
it's not
gives
explored
Wanda-
in later films.
yeah, it gives
It
Wanda
gives
fighting
Wanda
purpose.
it gives Wanda fighting purpose and also a little bit more personality.
I feel like the part that bothers me about it is that they rarely talk about Quicksilver after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
she
it-
mentions him a few times.
Yeah, well, because it's her brother.
Yes, it's her older twin brother that she lost, and that was the last family she had. Also, the fact that they're just completely okay with Stark now, like
Yeah,
after the
I
thing,
mean, that
because
was
like
kinda-
that was their entire thing was that they hate Tony Stark because of his missiles.
Yeah.
But then they're like, all right, fine, you're cool now.
Wait, who was saying that?
The Maximoff twins.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
that's true.
That's what killed their parents was a Stark missile.
Yeah.
oh
And
yeah,
then trapped them in the rubble of their house for 3 days. Was a Stark
Oh, yeah,
missile.
that's
Literally,
right.
Magneto went out like a bitch in this timeline.
Yeah. I'd say B tier.
I'd be
yeah,
okay
B
with
tier.
being
Even
a
though
B
Scepter
tier.
scene was
B
cool,
tier.
there's cool scenes, but there's some flawed execution to justify B.
It introduced the Mind Stone too.
Yeah. I like Thor in the movie too.
This is the first movie where Thor is a fun character.
Yeah.
And now we move on to
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Okay, I like
I
Ant-Man
love
a
Ant-Man.
lot. I think
Ant-Man's
it's
a lot of
fun
fun.
movie. It's a real fun movie.
I'd say
I'd say B though.
Yeah, I'd say
I don't
B,
think
yeah.
I don't think it deserves A
yeah,
necessarily.
it doesn't deserve
Yeah.
A status.
But like high B, like
Yeah.
right under A.
I love how this is a guy that is a bit morally dubious.
I like how they didn't go with Hank Pym. As
They
like
just-
Hank Pym's obviously a big part of the story
Yeah.
because he's one of the main characters. But I like how they chose to do Scott Lang instead.
Yeah.
Who's traditionally Ant-Man?
Hank
Hank
Pym.
Pym was
Hank
the
Pym.
first man.
Hank Pym. And
Is he
Janet
like that
Van
in the
Dyne.
Avengers Mightiest Hero cartoon?
Yes.
Yes. Hank
Scott
Pym,
Lang does appear though.
Hank
He
Pym.
steals the suit.
So Scott
According-
Lang is usually Ant-Man in
No.
some portions, or no?
He,
No,
he's
no,
the
no.
second person to don
Okay,
the
so
Ant-Man
the
mantle.
Okay.
yes.
Oh yeah,
he
because
took and then after he did it so he could save his daughter because in the comics Cassie is dying from like a rare disease, so he does it so he can get money to save his daughter, and then he goes to turn himself in obviously, but then because he goes back to Hank, say,
Who's
I stole,
who's the
but then
third
he's
guy?
like Eric O'Grady.
Yeah,
he doesn't matter.
some crazy dude.
Yeah, but then Hank Pym says, you know what? No, you keep it and you join the Avengers.
Yeah, my thing
But
about
but I'm glad that they chose to do Scott Lang rather than Hank Pym, because
I think Scott Lang, Hank
Because-
Pym. Okay, it would have been confusing with Hank Pym. I
Yes.
think just continuity wise, because if they introduced that young Hank Pym, they would have been like, why didn't you just introduce him in Ultron?
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it's the interaction with
and Hope Van
Hope
Dyne
is great.
she's a completely original character. Janet and Hank, maybe they do now, but they never had a kid in the
Yeah.
comics.
They were actually only dating. They weren't married.
No, they got married and then they got
Yeah.
divorced because he slapped her.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He beat his wife
oh
Yeah.
damn.
because he was going like mentally insane
From
though,
the
'cause of
Pym
Ultron.
okay.
Yeah, Ultron. The stress of
Yeah.
of creating Ultron and the Pym particles altering his brain.
Makes sense.
So he was mentally unstable, and then he fucking redeemed himself tenfold, like 8 times in the comics. He's redeemed himself.
And he's also had
Afterwards.
so many names.
Yeah,
Different
But
characters.
that doesn't matter. We're not talking about the comics. So I'd say
say
B tier.
yeah.
Because it's a fun movie, but it's kind of like its own movie.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, they show that it's connected to the Avengers,
Yeah.
obviously, because they have Falcon in the movie, but really it's its own thing.
Yeah. Let's go on to Civil War.
Captain America: Civil War is a
A
film
lot of
that
people
is-
don't like my opinion on this film because I think it's as good. It's as good as The Winter Soldier.
You think so?
I think so.
Interesting.
I like it. You know what?
I like it,
it's-
but not
it's-
that much.
It's okay. Think about it in Cap's life. If you think about it from Cap's perspective,
It
all
gives
right?
Cap some much needed real personality.
Well, not only that, he sees the Accords as
Also,
a
okay. Also,
no,
fuck the
not,
Accords.
no,
Fuck that stupid
no.
your guys' fault
it's
for
not-
fucking up everything.
It's not that.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's the part of the movie I hate is that they even think that they need these Accords. They saved the fucking Earth 8 times.
Yeah,
Fuck
but
off.
but
Tony Stark
you gotta-
felt that because of the high amount of
Tony-
casualties and his responsibility
Yeah,
in creating
he-
Ultron that he felt like
that's his own
obligated.
fault. But the fucking attack on New York, they show that as footage. It's like they just saved the fucking planet. What the hell?
What ungrateful bastards! That's one thing that I really hate about Civil War, especially since a lot of
But it introduces
yeah.
T'Challa and Peter Parker. So
Yeah, I think Peter Parker is just
that is a
publicity.
great intro.
It is a great intro. Yeah, it was
Skipping the
definitely
whole
publicity.
Great
stunt.
power
Thank
comes great,
God they
and I was
skipped
so.
that. I was-
I am so. We'll get to.
They
we'll
haven't
get to
even
that
mentioned.
With,
They haven't even,
Spider-Man
I mean,
Homecoming,
they've
but
made
yeah.
little nods to Ben.
Yeah.
To Ben Parker.
And
She's
then-
been through so much and stuff like that.
But I'm
And then I
so
also-
glad they skipped that cliche bullshit with
bringing
Spider-Man.
and also bringing back General Ross.
Yes, and what they say in the movie is when you have when you can do the things I can, and then you don't, and then the bad stuff happens. That's all
that's
they
all
needed
they
to
need
explain
to
his
say.
backstory.
Yeah.
T'Challa was the real star of the
Yes,
show.
I do. No, he wasn't.
No,
he wasn't the
I
real
think-
star, but it
I
was
think-
good. It was good to see that he stopped letting vengeance consume him.
Yeah.
That was the entire thing, and I was kind of getting annoyed of it. Oh my god, he's just all angry now.
Yeah.
But then at the end, he proves himself
Yeah.
to be he's no, I won't let this happen anymore.
No, I want to go back to the Accords
Yeah,
because
okay.
this is something that a lot of people forget. What happened to Cap in The Winter Soldier? So, Cap had put all of his trust in the system, and then he loses his trust in The Winter Soldier. He does not. Not only does he want to not surrender his right to choose, he also wants to avoid the possibility that he's being a puppet of another
Yes.
Hydra.
Yes.
And that's why he's so. That's why you're
he
so
says
paranoid.
it's people with agendas.
Especially since this is the movie where Peggy Carter dies, and it really
does.
lights a
Yes,
fire
that-
in him.
This is just like tragedy
Yeah.
for Cap.
And also, he wants to bone Peggy's niece.
That doesn't
But-
matter. We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
but-
Also,
the ending of the movie leaves you with a feeling of uncertainty.
okay. Also, the airport fight scene. Obviously, the best part. Well,
lot-
maybe not the best.
the ending was part.
It's
lot
the
of-
coolest part in the
A
movie.
lot of people, and also, I love the villain of Civil War.
Yes,
And it's not.
Zemo,
It's
because-
not okay. It's not Zemo. First of all, it's not
What
Zemo.
do you mean?
It's Stark. Tony Stark's the main villain
right.
of the movie.
But Zemo
Yes.
was wanting to tear them apart as revenge for his
Zemo
family.
was just
because his family was Hydra.
Zemo was
No,
a
his family wasn't Hydra.
Oh, no.
no.
His family died in Sokovia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They thought that he'd
Zemo-
be safe, but then the Avengers created Ultron and then fucked everything up. No, the Avengers didn't create Ultron. Stark created Ultron
Yes.
and
Yeah.
fucked everything up and then killed a billion
and then
people. in
Zemo
Sokovia.
wanted to tear the Avengers apart.
Yes, but and
Zemo-
he said an empire toppled by its enemies can rise again, but one that's toppled from within,
that's dead.
that's dead.
Like Zemo was just a stepping stone to what Tony Stark.
But I like Zemo too. I
Yeah,
think
I love
I
Zemo.
think he's a good villain for it.
the only but Tony Stark is
He is
the villain of the movie because he has the opposing ideology from Cap.
yeah.
It's-
But you can also agree with
Yeah.
Tony though.
I
It
can
doesn't
agree
it
with
doesn't
Tony.
make it seem like Tony's
He's
like
he's an antagonist, but he's not the villain.
That's what I see. That's what I like about it is that it's not like it's not like the movie isn't portrayed to make it seem like Cap is completely right and everyone else is a bunch of idiots. It's portrayed to seem like you can actually choose your
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. But from my perspective,
Obviously I wanted Cap to win because
I saw the perspective from Cap's point of view, and I instantly saw Tony Stark as the antagonist, the polar
okay, one thing I
opposite.
don't get is Black Widow's choice in that movie.
Black
to,
Widow-
to side with the
Black
Iron
Widow-
Man team. That's
Black-
not in her personality.
because
at
honestly,
all.
it would have
Black Widow
sided with
told-
Cap in reality.
Black Widow told the government to kiss her ass,
Yeah.
but she
Okay, you know what? Actually, I retract that because in Endgame, spoiler, just a little,
Yeah.
just a little. She says that this team was the only thing she
Yeah.
her family, and she wanted to keep it together.
yes, she didn't want to tear it apart.
She didn't want to lose her family.
And one other thing that is brought up a lot about the whole Civil War not really living up to what it was supposed to. I wanted to bring up a point that one YouTuber I watch, they're called Full Fat Videos. They talk about how the Russos took a character that we've seen, like the Iron Man, essentially the main character of the entire MCU, flip it upside down and make him the villain. You know, Tony Stark's whole arc through from the first Iron Man film all the way to Endgame involves it's a complete 180 flip. He does a complete 180 flip.
Yeah.
Twice. So from Iron Man to Civil War. In Iron Man, he was totally in disagreement with the government. He was an outcast. He tried to play ball with the ass clowns on Capitol Hill, but they didn't want to play back. Now here comes Civil War. He's guilty and he feels like maybe it's a good idea for me to sign these accords and actually work
Maybe
with
it's
the
a good
government.
idea to be, yeah.
And Cap
Because
coming
it's not
off
just
of,
him he's thinking
Yes.
for anymore. He's thinking
Yeah.
for his team and
Yeah.
for, he's fucked up a lot now. It's not just the weapons. He fucking
Yeah.
made Ultron.
But Cap has a complete 180 twist from Captain America all the way to Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's
Because of what happened in Winter Soldier.
and most of the reasons why Cap or Iron Man put more trust in the establishment than he did before was because of the events in Iron Man 3. You know, he let
Yes.
and he learned in Iron Man 2 there will not be threats that Tony Stark will be able to foresee. You know, he's not a psychic. He's not Doctor Strange. He needs to learn to work with others.
Okay.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yes. No, I think it deserves an S tier spot
Yes.
too, honestly.
Yeah,
I think Civil War.
I think Civil War is a
Honestly,
lot better.
I'm just
on
going
the
to say
second
this
watch.
right now. The 4 movies that we're putting in the S tier are the Russo brothers.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we already know this, but
yeah.
But okay, but I want to say one thing. The giant man scene
Oh yeah.
is the best part of the
Yeah.
movie. Where he fucking goes giant.
If I tear myself in half, don't come back.
Anyone is hiding any shocking powers they'd like to disclose? It's a great way to introduce Ant-Man to their groups too.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Doctor Strange.
That can go in C.
No.
Doctor Strange is like a similar plot to Thor, with him kind of being a dick, but
at the same
better
time,
execution.
It was better. It was better executed, and his power set made him. It made him feel more. He felt like a down to earth guy, unlike Thor.
No, but he was a dick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he learned to not be a dick throughout the movie. That's called development.
I kind of act the same way Doctor Strange did. Okay, I'm a complete dick sometimes.
I could feel.
No, but you're not arrogant.
I feel like a lot of times I relate to Doctor Strange because there's moments where I am arrogant as well.
But put away the relation to it. Think about the movie as a whole. I think it's a C tier movie.
And not only did it also set up a.
It set up a lot of stuff, but it's not. It's not. I don't think it deserves B tier.
It just
Do you think
holds.
the effects
It just
alone,
holds
because
such.
visuals are a
It holds
spectacle.
such a grasp on what the MCU is going to be in the future.
But I don't think it deserves. I think C tier is where we put this.
Where are you going to put it?
I think we're putting too many things in A and B tier again.
I think
we need to actually think about it for a second and think that it's a good movie, and saying C doesn't mean it's not a good movie.
It just means it's decent, and
it's decent.
The more that I think about Doctor Strange and how I'm struggling to think of like super awesome moments in it, other than the visual effects, I think that
No,
the best part of the movie is Dormammu have come to bargain. Obviously, that is a great use of the time stone.
And the banter between the whatever. Okay. If I can't remember the nurse's name.
I thought you were
Christine.
Christine.
And
also, what's his face? The black guy who like
Mordo.
He's probably going to be the.
I hate his character. He is
because
the
he's
enemy
like
in the next one.
Because he's like, you don't deserve to have this power because you are using it selfishly.
Yeah. So I think this one goes in C.
I can say that.
C.
Yeah, here.
What's next?
Guardians Volume 2. I do not like this one as much as the first one.
You don't?
Unfortunately, I had high hopes for this.
Okay,
I was happy about how it ended. It just didn't. It resonate.
It does some great
same.
character development for Rocket.
Yeah,
which is what I like.
And
also Yondu. They actually make Yondu a hero.
Yes.
I love Sheen Gunn's character.
Yeah.
Mantis
doesn't really become fun until
Infinity
War.
Like the final act of the movie.
Yeah, the final act and then Infinity War.
One
of the best parts of the movie is when they land and do the superhero pose and then she gets smacked in the head and Drax is like
Mantis, look out.
Yeah, like after she's already dead.
I would put it in A tier.
I'd say B tier.
B tier? Are you sure?
We have Guardians 1 in B tier. And A tier.
They're so close though.
I'd say B tier.
Okay.
I think B tier is
I can
fair.
be okay with that.
B tier.
Because it didn't feel the same after seeing it. And I think that was just from like MCU fatigue, because I had watched all these movies for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Or more than that.
I'd say
B
tier.
I was getting.
Yeah, but I feel like MCU fatigue should not detract from it, because I had MCU fatigue cloud my judgment on Civil War, but the more I think about Civil War, it's obviously one of the best ones.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
That one is a very good one.
Okay, but think about it without the hype of the fact that it's Spider-Man.
No, I'm thinking without
Think about
Spider-Man.
the fact that more of it's kind of like Iron Man 4.
It's literally Iron Man 4.
It's Iron Man 4.
But I love seeing this type of superhero, which we haven't seen before, because we have never seen a superhero from in the MCU from the perspective of a kid who has to
who lives in Avengers, in a world with Avengers and aliens and stuff.
Yeah, and how he's
just
in
a
their
street level
in
hero.
their shadow.
He's a street level
and
hero.
he's trying to prove himself. I think that's a really
I
compelling
can give
story.
this one an A.
No, I can't. I cannot give it an A.
Think B?
I can only give it a B. The highest
You know
I
what?
can give
I
it.
disagree. I disagree
I can
with
only
both of
give-
you. You are
I
selling
can
out.
only say. I can
No,
only
he's
put.
selling out.
I
You're
can.
the one who's No,
I think
I don't
A.
think.
I can't.
Okay, majority vote says B though.
I cannot go behind
flip-flop.
it being an A film.
High B. It's
Okay.
like under it. I just don't think it deserves to be A.
Okay, I thought.
Is it better than Spider-Man 2? Yes.
It's better than any Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean it is
It's
A
the best.
tier.
It's not a. It's just not my favorite. Not my
It's
favorite.
I like
MCU.
it. I like it a lot. I don't think there's really that many bad parts of the movie.
I like-
but there's also not the like the part
For the
where
record,
the
I
part
like
where he
Spider-Man
proves
2
himself.
better. You people, I guess that it's a bit corny.
It's
but
very close between those two,
Yeah.
and I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, we're
because
not talking
would be
about that 'cause
another.
it's
That
not
would be
MCU.
another podcast.
Okay, Ragnarok. I love
I
Ragnarok.
love
Thor
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok is not A.
Yes, it is.
It's A.
It's totally A.
It's
Fuck.
it's totally A.
It's a perfect. It lets the Hulk be fun for once, where he's not
That's
just
true.
like an awful monster.
It starts the 3-movie arc that
Yes.
that ends.
It
in
finally
Endgame.
makes Loki like Loki's a
Good.
fun character. I mean, Loki was a fun character before, but
actually
now
good?
he is like
Yeah.
a. It introduces
Valkyrie?
it Korg.
Valkyrie was a better
Piss
love
off,
interest
Ghost.
for Thor.
Yeah,
Thor.
finally a good love interest for Thor. Thor's fun in this movie.
Yeah.
He is a
don't-
fun character.
I thought it was fun, but I didn't think it was like super A tier. I thought
I
it was
think
like
it is.
high
I
B
think
tier.
the fact
It's
when
my,
he
it's
sees him,
personally my favorite
obviously.
MCU movie.
Really?
Because
Think
I
so?
like
Whoa!
Thor as a character.
Wow, that's
your favorite. Wow. Okay.
Thor's my favorite character.
Yeah, I can
Well,
see
Thor-
it.
I
being
think
your
this
favorite.
actually, you know what? A tier seems more justified because when I watched this movie for the
I
first time,
can't put it
I
in
thought,
S
"Wow,
tier.
Thor is such
No,
a good
it's not S tier.
character."
Yeah.
Because this movie really made me a fan of Thor when I was
because it didn't while it's a great movie, it doesn't have the impact that the
Yeah.
other movies do.
And
now
No,
we're
I
back
don't want to be done talking about it yet. Just yet.
Thor-
Come on, there's a little
Thor
bit more to
Ragnarok.
say
yeah,
about
obviously
it.
we could talk more about
So-
it. The sister.
It's
Yes, Hela.
Hela-
Okay, that was
Hela
the one
was
part
not
about
really
the movie.
my-
Yeah,
not my
the
favorite
best part of the
villain.
movie was the battle world.
yeah.
Was Hulk and Thor being on the battle world. When
On
they get
Sakaar,
Yeah,
the
on Sakaar.
Contest of Champions.
See, I think the
that was the
villain
closest
made me
thing.
really think of B tier.
That was the closest thing we'd ever get to a Planet Hulk movie,
yeah,
and it's
but,
really sad.
But Hela just in general, she's an okay villain, and the part when Thor goes back and he's smacking the thing
Yeah.
on the ground, that's a cool
Yeah.
scene. But and also Hulk jumping out of the ship and smacking it, like, you know,
Yeah,
that's funny. When I was in the theater, everyone erupted into laughter at that part because it's a funny part.
Taika Waititi wanted to make a good Thor film.
Yes,
He literally, I think,
I think he succeeded.
I truly believe that he went into the studio, went to Kevin Feige, took scenes from the previous 2 Thor movies, and just put Led Zeppelin over them. And Kevin Feige was like, "That's what we need for a Thor movie."
Yeah. So I think it's A.
Yeah,
I give it A.
I'd say, and I like
Justified.
Doctor Strange in
You
it
convinced
too.
me.
Justified, right?
Doctor Strange is
Doctor
really
Strange's role is great in it. And the fact that Thor keeps when he's he keeps trying stumbling around because he's warping around the Sanctum Sanctorum.
It doesn't like the powers that Doctor Strange exhibits in
Yeah, it's just
Ragnarok are way different from the powers he
Also,
exhibits
this is
in
probably the funniest.
because he's learned.
Also, if we
No,
really think about it, this is the
he-
funniest MCU movie.
Yes, it is.
Definitely, most definitely the funniest.
No, like Doctor Strange in his movie is way different from his interpretation in Ragnarok because they make Doctor Strange in Ragnarok look like he's an actual wizard. He actually has wizard powers, like Harry Potter wizard, not
Yeah.
like quantum energy wizard guy. Yeah,
You're a wizard, Steven.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
and
more
then
like-
they meld his powers in
Yeah,
Infinity War,
yeah.
so he has kind of mix of
yeah,
both.
yeah.
But okay, Black Panther.
Black Panther.
C.
Yeah. I cannot get behind the hype to it. It's overrated.
I get it.
We were just talking about how good it was a while back.
No, we
though.
weren't. We were talking about how it's yes, we were.
Overrated it is.
We were talking about how it's a good. It is a good movie, but it is not as good.
As
I don't
a
think
lot
it's
of the
C
other
tier.
ones.
I think
I'd
it's
say it's
B
C
tier.
I think it's C
I
tier.
cannot.
John.
I
Because-
cannot get behind the hype.
Okay,
I cannot get behind the. It's so overrated.
Claw in the movie
Try
is
to-
annoying.
They killed him.
Yeah.
Yes, they
They
just
killed him.
unceremoniously kill him. It's like, okay, wow,
Come
that's
on.
like a good twist and all, but
Like, come on.
Well,
you
that's the
just-
struggle of
you
wanting
couldn't-
to open up Wakanda to the world.
that is a good.
That's
I'm not saying it's an awful movie. Like how he
They-
put Doctor Strange down there. Doctor Strange is an awful
I know,
movie.
but compare this to Iron Man 3. Do you think that Black Panther is worse than Iron Man 3?
Yes, I enjoy
Yes.
Iron Man 3.
You don't
My-
enjoy Black Panther.
I
Black
enjoy it
Panther-
enough, but
Black
I would
Panther
rather
should've
watch
done-
Iron Man 3.
Black Panther should have done. Black Panther pulled something.
Because Iron Man 3 is watching him deal with his stress
Yeah.
and like his panic attacks and everything. It's watching Tony become a character.
What? Oh,
Black Panther is just
You don't
watching.
really see any struggles.
No, you don't. The only
okay,
Other than
struggle
when
is
he got his power taken away.
Yeah, and then which
And
happens
that-
like 3 times in the movie. It's like, oh my god, we get it.
And it doesn't even have any long-term consequences.
No, it doesn't. The movie is just like, okay, we got it. I'm not saying it's bad.
It's
We're
another.
not saying it's bad.
It's another example.
It's an
of,
impressive feat, and it's
it's
also
another-
amazing that it's
it's-
like an all African American
Yeah.
cast. That is a
But
very
the
good
one-
thing.
The one thing, it's a very prime example of Marvel's villain problem. They should have kept Claw alive.
Claw should have been the main villain, not
Well, Claw-
Killmonger,
okay.
because he's just evil Black
I
Panther.
think what they should have done was pull
Yeah,
a Dark
Claw
Knight,
would have been
where they
interesting.
don't kill the main villain. They just add on another villain, because the villain from the Dark Knight is the Joker. He's the villain the whole time. But halfway through the film, you get Harvey Dent, who then becomes Two-Face.
Yes.
They what they did was they were trying to pull the plot from the Dark Knight, but then they killed the main villain, and then they took the secondary villain, and then they made him the main villain.
And I like Killmonger's character.
I do like.
I
Killmonger.
think it's yes.
Like
I just-
his anguish is justified.
Yes, yes. I like, and
But I think
it's a good movie, but I don't think it's their best. I think it's. I just can't get behind the hype of it.
I think they could have if you
like when you take off the oh my
Yeah.
god, it's black people goggles.
Yeah.
Sorry, that sounds awful. I
Yeah,
mean, like
but-
I just mean because if it's a feat, it's like a
Yeah.
no, it's a. When you take off that and just look at it as an actual movie in the MCU, there's really no consequence to the movie. It's just like okay,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think
My-
the best part to showcase, Wakanda and Black Panther's character. I think that
I like how
the
it
best Black
introduces
Panther.
Shuri, though.
I think the best Black Panther movie might be Civil War, because you see more character development from T'Challa in Civil War than in his own movie.
Thinking about it now,
I do like what's his name, Secretary which
Secretary I think it's Agent Ross. It's
Yeah,
Agent
he is
Ross.
a good character in that.
I
movie.
like
how
he's cool.
He's like
he's a
whoa.
fun character.
Yeah, especially since he's just shocked to know how
Yeah.
amazing Wakanda is.
Yes, it's a good movie. So
I just
but
think
I
they
don't
could have
think it-
made-
I think they could have made it better.
They
if
could have
had
made
just-
Killmonger and they could have made Killmonger and Claw like a Darth Sidious and Darth Vader sort of
Yes,
thing,
kinda that, like-
where Claw was the guy who was
Yeah.
telling him was tempting him to do bad things.
They're gonna
Although
make
I do like how Killmonger has his own like
Yeah.
agenda. He's like
Yeah.
fuck you, Claw.
yeah.
But I wish
Well,
he hadn't
so-
killed him. I wish
yeah.
it had been like these two villains eventually have to meet, and then there's
Hey,
three
especially
Thanks.
that one girl that was with Killmonger. You just
Yeah,
kinda-
that was
it was out
yeah,
of
He just
necessity.
kills her. It's like what the hell? Who was that?
Because there was we saw some attachment between the two, but it's really
There's barely any though.
I
I know,
know.
but enough to make you wonder.
It doesn't make
why
you like
she's
sad.
dead.
Like I'm
No,
sorry.
No,
and
it
then
doesn't.
she shoots
It doesn't make me
okay.
sad. It just made me confused. Like, was she supposed to
What's
be
the
an important
relationship
character?
between these two?
I know
characters?
exactly.
And also, they're gonna make Black Panther 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm really interested in Black Panther 2 is since the end of this one, they open up Wakanda to the world and reveal its secrets. I'm curious to know what the consequences of that will be.
We
Well,
kinda
we
saw a little bit.
we
in the
learned in Endgame.
Well, mostly in
It's-
Infinity War.
Think about what I don't. Let's talk about that for Endgame.
Well,
Personally.
Endgame Infinity War, we don't even get to know that much about what happens with Wakanda other than the
No,
the battle
well,
against
there
Thanos.
there are some hints to what may happen in Black Panther 2.
Hold on. Just grab something real quick.
Oh, okay.
My charger's back here, and I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose. I don't want to leave this here.
But I think we're pretty much done discussing about Black Panther
I think
1.
we're done.
So
Okay,
we're on to
Infinity
Infinity War S
S
tier.
tier, obviously.
S-tier.
No
S tier.
question.
S
I
tier.
want to talk. I love Infinity War because it's. I don't know how. I mean, Cap had a very, small role in the movie, but I didn't have a problem with that.
He was
It
still.
was
He was still a
mostly-
part of it, though.
It was mostly Thanos was
Thanos
played
was
out
the
as
main
the main character,
which is okay.
and this is
It was really good because
because
we
I'm
got to
glad
see
they did
some-
that too. Because with the amount of heroes they
Yeah.
had to focus on, focusing on one character
Yeah.
would have been like kind of like, okay,
So much
we're not
easier.
like caring about these other heroes.
And even,
so they decided, let's focus on the villain.
And even though Thanos,
Okay, but
methods
Thor
are-
is also like secondary.
Thor and Thanos go on a parallel journey that the assumption is that Thor is going to fix the problem because he got his ass
That's what
kicked.
you think of.
You think that's going to happen. It's
And then
and then
doesn't.
And then he doesn't.
When I saw that in the theater, because you told me it was gonna, you.
I knew it
because
was
I
gonna-
asked you.
I
Because
knew it was
knew
gonna
that
end.
I knew that they were gonna
The way it was
because
gonna
the way that because well, first of all, because they're like, we're releasing another Avengers movie next year.
The
Yeah.
thing was me,
But
I got
I
kind of
didn't
spoiled
know
about the
that-
Dusted thing because I waited 2 weeks to see Infinity War, which is a mistake because the memes.
But the thing is, the comic
Yeah.
had been out for like 20 years.
It doesn't go the same as the comic.
Oh, yo, because
But
Thanos'
the
motivations
whole-
were different.
The whole snap was a thing that was going to happen.
Yes.
If you were going to introduce Thanos and not have the snap, what's the point?
Yeah, it was.
You know?
In me, it shocked me because, well, keep in mind, I
The way he
don't read comic
mercilessly
books.
killed Vision, though.
Yeah.
It's you look at like Thanos. Okay, Thanos portrayed in Infinity War. Thanos in Infinity War. Infinity War is made to be Thanos' movie and how Thanos would portray himself as the hero the entire time.
And in
we'll
other
get
ways,
into it
from his
later when
perspective,
Endgame
you could
comes out.
you could see him as a hero because even though his methods are extreme by wiping out half the population, he has justifiable reasons because he cites
He's trying to do
hometown.
the right thing,
Yes.
Yeah, in the
but
wrong.
it's also
way.
stupid.
Yeah.
And also
It's
another thing
stupid.
I wanted to mention earlier, which is another important point of why Infinity War is amazing, is think about it. You have all these characters from all these movies and franchises coming together in one big picture, and it could have been a giant tangled mess. But they managed to make the scenes seamless.
think-
There was never a dull moment, and it felt like the scenes strung together perfectly.
I think they felt they what they did to structure the movie. They took 3 teams. There were 4 teams throughout the entire.
And they would focus on different groups within the movie. You have
So
Cap's
you-
group, you've got Iron Man's group, you've got Thanos' group, and then you've
You
got
got
Thor's little group.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
we
Thor's
follow-
group joins up with Cap's
Yeah,
group.
we follow mostly Thanos's and Thor's group through the entire film.
Yes, we see little bits of Iron Man's.
Yeah, but yeah.
Even then, Thor's
And then
group
little bits of
splits off
Cap's.
because it's just Thor and the Guardians go off on their own to try to get the Reality Stone.
And then they meet up with Iron Man.
And then Thor and Rocket and Groot try to forge the axe.
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so when it came out, I was really bummed that Hawkeye and Ant-Man weren't in it.
But they
No,
were
shut
just
up,
the-
I'm talking.
sorry.
Sorry, that was mean of me. I didn't mean it like that. I just wanted to finish my statement before you interrupted me.
Okay.
Okay. I was, at first, upset, but then, when Ant-Man and the Wasp
Yeah.
and Endgame came out, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm happy because... I was happy that they weren't in it anymore.
Yeah.
Because the way they introduced them in Endgame is perfect.
Yes.
Definitely, because I think the reason why they weren't in it is because they were on the Captain
were
America
under
side was
house-
on the
they were
rat
under
run, but
house
they
arrest.
house
Yeah.
arrest, while the other parts of Cap's teams were on the run.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
That's
decided that it'd be too hard on their families,
Yeah.
so they took...
The house arrest.
Yes.
It was just I just love Infinity War.
Infinity War is my
it's-
favorite MCU movie, hands down.
It's definitely up there, and I like the interaction between Tony Stark and Peter Quill. It's just it's wonderful.
I like how the 3 biggest egotists in the
I
galaxy...
know, exactly.
Basically.
I like the little
and also the
pop,
like
And
the
also
Who is
Spider-Man
Gamora.
just being
the
confused
pop
the entire
the pop
time. He's
culture
It was-
references with
Yeah.
pop culture references between Peter and
Their meeting
and
scene on Titan
both
was
of
the funniest
they're both
scene in the
named
movie.
Peter.
Yes, they are.
Oh my gosh, I didn't
didn't
put
realize
that
that?
together. Oh shit.
Is it still the greatest movie on Earth? It never was.
I like the part where where Quill is like, yeah, tall guy, not that good looking.
Yeah.
Needed
No,
saving,
Thor.
and then Spider Peter's like, what? And then also the little eyes when Tony Stark says says dipshit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Spider-Man's eyes just like, what?
Yeah, it's they put extra
it.
effort into like making the,
And not to
just
mention,
making
I
them
loved
more expressive, more
and also
like,
the most
human.
important scene happened on Titan
when Doctor Strange is using the time stone to look at all the possible timelines, and there's millions, and he determines that one is the correct one, and then when he hands over him, he says,
always
"We're in the
wondering-
end game now." He said it. He said it. He said, "We're in the
when
end game."
when
They
I
also
heard
said Endgame in Age of Ultron.
yeah, but when I heard the
He
word
points up to the sky and says, "That up there, that's the Endgame, where the aliens came through." The hole.
I didn't back in 2015 I didn't think Avengers 4 would be called Endgame, but when Infinity War came out and I knew it was going to be a two-parter because they announced it, I was like, okay, they're calling this one Avengers Infinity War. They're not calling it Part 1, so something's going to happen in Infinity War where it's just going to reveal the title. And immediately when I heard Doctor Strange say we're in the Endgame now, I was like, that's it. Endgame. That's the title of the next one.
Yeah, it's just
Perfect.
great. Yes, perfect.
I love it. It's narratively.
There's very little I can say negatively about it. One thing I can say is that I dislike how they basically take out the two strongest Avengers on Earth, like in the first scene of the movie. They disable Vision, and then Scarlet Witch won't help at all because she's worried about Vision.
yeah.
It's like, okay, great.
Yeah, I think they nerfed.
Also,
Why
where the
didn't
fuck
I
did
feel
her
like,
accent go?
Vision-
She does not have an accent in that movie.
Yeah. I mean,
Vision was nerfed pretty hard.
She completed her 3-story arc like Halle Berry did in the X-Men movies, where she just loses her accent for some reason.
I like Scarlet Witch. I
love
like her as a
Scarlet Witch.
character. But I feel like they did not do her justice in that movie.
Yeah.
She did make that choice to kill Vision. And
Yeah.
then,
and
like,
that
Thanos
really
like,
hit it
"Ha!"
hard.
Fuck you.
And then she got dusted too.
Yeah, she did. Let's talk about the choices of the dusted characters. Like how they kept all the
Peter
original
Quill.
ones alive, right? That's great.
They kept the original 5 alive.
They
It was
wanted-
interesting to have
Original
Rocket.
6.
Rocket was the only one of the Guardians that
Unless
stayed
you count
alive.
Nebula.
Oh well, Nebula
Well,
is not a
Rocket
Guardian.
was
but-
a second
yeah.
time or second wave Guardian. She's a Guardian in Volume 2.
Yeah.
Rocket, I think they purposefully chose Rocket because
They figured he could...
they wrote Endgame in advance.
They
You know,
recorded them back to back.
yeah,
Not recorded. They shot the movies back to back.
Not only did they shoot the movies back to back
Interchangeably.
Yeah,
they
they
shot
shot
them at the
the-
same time.
Yeah, they shot them.
The
at
one
the
that
same
obviously
time.
hit the hardest was definitely Peter Parker.
Even though we clearly
Obviously.
knew he was gonna come.
Even
back.
though we...
Yeah.
Which is why that
I
movie
did-
isn't sad to watch.
I didn't cry.
Well, it's still a bit.
I did when I saw it.
The Russos
Because it was sad. Not because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, he's dead. It
I'm
was
actually
because
very
of, like,
glad
Tony's like,
Yeah.
oh
that
my
I can
God, this
still
kid
say
I
that
like is
Infinity
dying.
War is my favorite because in Endgame I was really
Stop. We're
worried.
not talking about Endgame yet.
Yeah,
Not Endgame yet.
Not okay.
We have
I
two
will
more movies
stop.
before we get to
The
Endgame.
Russo-
No, I'm
The
not even
Ru-
talking about Endgame, but I was just like, I was worried that they were gonna cheapen the Endgame and Infinity War, but I'm so glad that the Infinity War ending is still as good as it was.
Yes,
All I can
because it's
say-
not like... Okay, no, yeah. Hold on.
We'll
continue.
save it for Endgame. I just wanted to say that.
I think the Russo brothers, they made the deaths emotional, but they made them emotional to the point where you're just upset that they're dead. You're not sad that they're dead.
You're just like,
they
"Aw,
wanted,
come on."
they wanted to save the tears for Endgame, and I think they
Where
did
they
that
actually are
perfectly.
deserved.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's go.
No, hold on. Just real quick about Infinity War. The part where where Bruce Banner can't turn into Hulk, it's never really explained why. Is it because he's embarrassed that he
No,
PTSD
lost?
from
no,
Thanos.
it's not that. They didn't. The Russo brothers explain it in the commentary track that the Hulk is tired of playing hero for Bruce Banner.
Because he got
They
his
didn't
ass handed by Thanos.
Yeah. So they didn't explore that in Infinity War, which is kind of sad that they didn't. But they had 2 hours and 40 minutes. They could have easily made it a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
To explore some of that stuff, but-
But just the Hulk bits of like
I don't think it
MCU were
needed to
my
be-
least favorite.
Okay.
I think we're done with Infinity War.
Yeah, we're done with Infinity War. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think it goes in the same place Ant-Man does.
B?
Same. I think it's.
Let's do that.
I think it follows.
I don't know. I think C.
To me they feel like a
I
very.
think it's a C tier movie.
I cannot
honestly.
put it in
You
C.
you two talk about because admittedly this is one
I
that I have
can't-
not seen.
I cannot put it in C because they feel Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp feel so similar.
Yeah,
and they
no,
feel-
but it
they
just
have
feels
the
like
same-
it's rehashing the
It's
first
not
movie. It's like
rehashing.
it's like at first they didn't know each other, and then they did, and then they got angry. So Ant-Man has to get back in, like rebuild these relationships with these characters we've already seen him build relationships with.
I just don't see it as a rehash because you don't have somebody with you don't have someone with shrinking tech.
Yeah, no, it's more of the fact that you need someone trying to kill the person with shrinking tech by, I don't know. I think it's.
Hold on. You two talk.
All right, he's never seen it, so you and I can talk about it.
But my thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't think it's as good as the first Ant-Man movie. I just think they're both at the same level because it's not a rehash.
I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I really like the movie, but I don't think it's as good as some of these other movies that we have in B. I think it's on par with these C tier movies.
I just don't see it. I don't see that. I don't. It's the same thing with me and Guardians of the Galaxy, like Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians Volume 2. They're both so close.
Yes, but if it's so close to being the same thing, then it's
they're
not.
so close to being.
It doesn't show that
movies.
they can change the movie at all.
They're both.
It's like I just don't think it's B tier. I think high C is what we can give it.
I don't know. I can't. I don't see it being.
Because what's the best part about the movie?
Best part?
Yeah,
Giant Man. The interaction between
the best
Hope,
part about the
Hope
movie.
and
the best part of the movie is the end credits scene.
No, it's not the
yes,
best.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's the best part of the movie. Yeah, it is. It sets up the entire. It sets up an Endgame.
I like the interaction between It's a team up movie with. It's like Ant-Man, but with two ant people.
Yes, I
and
know.
It's
which
so
is what
much.
The first
it's
one
so much
was.
fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch because
I just can't put it in B.
Why? I can't.
Because
I can't put it in C,
doesn't. It's not as good as some of these other movies we have in B.
I think I still think it's in B because I mean. It's not a heist film. Ant-Man was made to be a heist film.
Yes, right? I know, which is why it's so fun.
But Ant-Man and the Wasp is not a heist film.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is just, the lab was stolen. Oh, we got to get it lab. Oh, no, now this was stolen. Oh, now we have to run over here to get this. It's just a fetch quest movie.
I like fetch quest movies.
I don't. It's like,
fetch quest movies.
Freaking
They're
stick
fun.
with. Also, there's like, okay, we have to worry about the ghost character. We have to worry about this time limit that they have to worry about. We have to worry about the FBI trying to capture them all. We have to worry about these stupid gangster people. It's so annoying to keep track of all these stupid bad guys.
But they do it so well.
Yeah, but I don't care. It's annoying.
So well.
That Wasp even says in the movie how many bad guys are there.
Cassie has a more important role in the movie
I will
too.
say that Cassie's role is better in the movie.
Cassie's role
but
in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I just don't see it as
he looks more like a father.
Yes, he does.
He looks more like a father.
He actually looks like a dad.
Yeah.
Because he's been allowed to be a dad again. But I just don't think that. Because they also make Ant-Man seem like an idiot, so Wasp can be better. But he's not an idiot, though. They show in the first one he's an intelligent guy. He's goofy, but he's intelligent.
We'll talk about it in Endgame, where there are some goofy moments.
Yes, he's goofy,
a
but he's
idiot.
Intelligent. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, they just make him an idiot so Wasp can look smart.
It was the Wasp's movie. That's all I can say about it. And I like the Wasp in the movie. I like the shrinking cars. I love the chase scenes. I love the whole fight with the Wasp against all the thugs. And it also explains why Ant-Man and the Wasp weren't at Wakanda. I can't put it in C. Because I just can't put it in C. I don't see it in C. I don't like it being in C. Because to me, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man are so... They're both at the same level.
Alright, I'm back.
I put it in between.
Okay.
What are you doing here, Duke? We're in the podcast.
So, what's the consensus?
We cannot decide, so we put it between B and C.
I can't...
Okay,
I can't put it in... I cannot put it in C.
So B. So let's call it BC tier.
It's.
I can't put it in C. I just can't.
I'll probably watch that and then listen back to what your arguments were, after I've seen it.
Honestly,
And now
Captain Marvel.
Captain
can go
Marvel.
straight to D.
No,
Let's
I'd say it's C,
I honestly would say
low C, because it's
Low
just
C.
there.
I would say that C
Yeah, so is the Hulk. It's not an important.
But
movie.
let's talk about why we would say that it's better than Hulk, like a tier higher. I'd say
I can watch Captain Marvel and enjoy it. I can't watch The Incredible
even
Hulk.
though the biggest problem with the movie is that there is no real development to her character other than realizing that she was brainwashed by the Kree.
Exactly.
Which is established because we already know from Guardians 1 that the Kree are evil.
Yeah.
So it's no bit the twist.
The twist that they're
Isn't
the
really
bad
good.
guys the whole time is just stupid. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a C because
There are
it's a low C movie.
It was actually kind of enjoyable to see her try to see the perspective
What was her personality like in the movie?
She was like
very brash.
Yeah, very brash.
So did she have a personality though?
Yeah, she had
She had a personality.
She was very strong-willed.
I've never seen it.
She was
She
always
felt like
questioning.
She felt like she.
So she wasn't wet cardboard like she is in Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame was
Yeah.
her worst.
Because she.
But
Didn't have personality
she
in
was
it.
playing Captain Marvel in Endgame before she was playing Captain Marvel in Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's right.
So I liked her. I liked her character in Captain Marvel more than I did in Endgame. It's just she. It felt like the Terminator. She had no. She had no emotion, but she was like. She was trying to fit in like a Terminator would, like in the Terminator movies.
Not to
and
mention,
that's why I
her
somewhat
battling
enjoyed-
against like the Kree like computer
Yeah.
like supreme was
Yeah.
kind of weird. 'Cause
that was like
it was a
very-
Deus Ex Machina.
That was feminist. That had feminist written all over.
It was just Deus Ex Machina, really. The only thing that I think would justify a C tier placement over a D tier placement is Goose the Flurkin. I
Yeah.
love Goose.
I
Goose is
also
so
like
good.
how Nick Fury got his
Eye patch because this cat scratched him.
like it's so funny listening to him in the Winter Soldier. Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye, and then I watched Captain Marvel, and I'm like, well,
Oh wow.
yeah, I guess you trusted that cat way too much.
And now for the climax. With awkward pacing. It's an S tier! We know Avengers Endgame, S
Avengers
tier.
Endgame is SS tier to me. Honestly, if we had an SS tier, Endgame would be there.
For me,
It's my favorite movie. Out of all of
It
them.
was
and
the,
also your favorite movie ever.
It was the culmination that
You love it 3000.
I
everybody
do. It's fucking
did
incredible.
not expect it. The Russo brothers had decided to say to the audience before the movie came out, you're only going to see the first 15 minutes in trailers. What did we get? We didn't get the first 15 minutes in trailers. The trailers, they promised the first 15 minutes. The stuff that they were showing the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they showed.
What did it show?
They showed stuff from later in the movie. There was some stuff from later in the movie.
Yeah, but even
What?
then it was out of context.
Yeah, it was very much out of
Yeah,
context.
very
So
much
you couldn't
out of
even
context.
tell.
Like,
Yeah.
like the part where they showed Nebula. Like,
Yeah,
doing
that-
That's
yeah.
later in the movie, but you don't know that.
Yeah. There was the part with War Machine and his new armor. That didn't come in until like way into the third act of the movie. And I can only say that in terms of comparing both Endgame and Infinity War, they're both totally differently made. They're totally different films.
Because
They're
in the
made
first
so much
15
different.
minutes,
Because Thanos isn't the main character. Captain America and Iron Man are the main characters.
yeah, because they're
lot
dealing.
of-
Because I think
Yeah.
what really
It focuses
defines this
on
movie.
the Avengers this time. The perspective they take Thanos in Endgame is not the peace-loving person that wanted to snap away half the universe because he believes it's right. They make him look like a sadist. They make him look like he's the villain. They make him look like how
But you can
Nebula.
also tell it's the same guy.
It's the same guy. You're seeing Thanos from Nebula's perspective. You're not seeing Thanos from Thanos' perspective.
Also, I think one word to describe this movie well is
It's
resolution.
choppy.
Well, it's
It's
choppy,
choppy.
but it's resolution as well because
Choppy?
until
It's choppy, but it leaves room for character.
Yeah.
Unlike Infinity War, which only focused on
Thanos,
Thor.
and Thor.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it focused on some other characters,
Yeah.
but Thanos and Thor were the two main characters.
Yeah.
This one, obviously, Iron Man and Stark are the two main... Stark and Cap are the two main characters.
Yeah, so
They're
if
the ones that
Infinity War
focus on the
was,
most.
the quest
But-
to try to keep the stones away from Thanos,
They were
this
playing
one
defense.
is...
They
This
were
one,
playing
yeah,
defense.
definitely...
Now they're playing
No,
offense.
it became defense once Thanos realized the time jumping due to the two nebulas existing in the same timeline.
That part
That
got me
was
a little...
that was like
Because, like, come
Well,
on,
no.
Nebula, you should know
That had
this.
to, well, here's the thing. It had to happen that way because otherwise they would have just...
who's gonna be the villain?
Yeah, how was
Now,
Thanos going to
honestly-
fight back? It had to do it,
honestly,
otherwise it
and
would have been
You know
boring.
what? Then the fucking amazing the end scene would not have happened. And I love that end scene. It's
Yeah, there had
so
to be a
fucking
conflict
cool,
set up, because
dude.
if they just got the stones with little conflict other than than Scarlet, I mean not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow,
Spoiler.
Black Widow sacrificing herself for the Soul Stone.
Which, God, that's a sad.
Yeah, I think the best way to, and also with Iron Man
I wasn't
sacrificing
very
them,
much sad with Black Widow.
it's not even resolution that
I
describes
was
the movie.
because it's like, oh,
The word that
come on.
describes this movie really well is consequences. The Avengers are dealing with
Yes,
their
there are
consequences of
actual
losing.
consequences in this movie. Like Thor,
I also like
he does not deal with he does not deal with the grief well, but it's an actual way to deal with grief.
drinking to
Yes.
your heart's content.
Yes,
And
the
eating
fact that
pizza
Hulk, the fact
all
that Hulk
day.
finally figured out the mystery,
Yeah.
like out of because, and the fact like
Consequences
Yeah.
of resolution.
yeah, one of my favorite parts of the movie is when Scott Lang sees his daughter.
Yeah.
And
That
he-
was a good
but
scene.
That's a good scene because it's like, oh my God, there are actual
Yeah.
consequences to all this. He missed 5 years of her life
Yeah.
again,
And she
after
thought he
missing
was
3,
dead.
and she thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And it's just such a good movie, and the fact that
I love seeing how that neighborhood of Scott Lang in San Francisco,
Yeah.
it was just a complete wasteland.
yes, the way the pacing of introducing the heroes is great too. Because I remember in Infinity War they didn't introduce T'Challa and Bucky till midway
Yeah.
through the second act.
Yeah. They didn't know that Black Panther was going to be so popular. I mean,
But he had to be in. They had to know that to put him in Infinity War some part.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they put him in Wakanda.
Black Panther, funny thing about Black Panther, they were I think that he played Black Panther before he was in Infinity War. He played Black Panther in Black Panther before he was in Infinity War.
Well, he also
but-
played it in
Yeah.
Captain America.
Yeah. But the thing about Endgame, the time jumping, that was
Yes.
cool. I thoroughly enjoyed the time
It was
jumping.
a super freaking nostalgia trip.
It was a very big nostalgia trip
Yeah.
for me because the 3 movies that I thoroughly enjoyed from that time period from 2012 to 2014 were The Avengers, Thor: The Dark World, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And what do you know? Those are the 3 movies that they go back to.
Yeah.
I
Technically, they go back to Infinity War too.
Yeah,
if,
they
if
go
you
back to
count, if you
Infinity
count Vormir,
yeah. But
just before Infinity
yeah.
War. But what was I gonna say?
It resonated with me because it was those 3 time periods, and I was like, these are
Yes.
exciting moments.
Also, they, even though it's not the same, they reference not Civil War, Winter Soldier.
Oh my god!
That elevator scene where he's
Yeah.
Funny thing
Yeah.
about that.
that is a good
I
scene
love
right
that.
there.
Yeah, I was like, either way.
How he got the scepter
I-
because he just said Hail Hydra.
Either way, he could have won either way.
Yeah,
he
but
could
he
have won by
decided, you
beating
know,
the shit out
and
of
also-
them.
and also when he says-
But he played it smart because if he beat the shit out of them, it would fuck up the timeline
Yeah.
because Winter Soldier would not have progressed that way because Hydra would feel more threatened and they would take more aggressive action
Yeah.
in that timeline 2 years before Winter Soldier was to come out. So I think Cap played it very smart in that scene. I was just very glad that they found a way to do the time travel heist, but make it so that it doesn't screw up the timeline.
Make it so it actually fits within the laws of nature too.
Yes.
And-
That's why
and thinking-
that's why I was really glad to see that the sorceress scene.
Yes, when the Ancient One came back, and she gives a good explanation for why the time heist is happening. So Thanos destroys the stones.
He used the stones to destroy the stones.
So
It
in the
nearly killed
comics,
him.
you're not allowed to do that, but they
Cares.
wrote around that.
Who cares?
But without the Infinity Stones creating the feeling of time and space and holding that essence together, or that force of nature together, without the stones being there, it would just be chaos. So literally the events of Thanos destroying the stones caused all these time splits. If you think about it,
yeah.
the whole idea of them going on the time heist already made up already split the timeline up into different.
Yeah.
I also
Second.
liked how Thanos wasn't gonna fight back and wasn't afraid to die because in his mind he achieved.
There was no way he was going to be able to fight back.
because he was not going to be able to fight back, and he didn't resist because he had already achieved his goal.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm inevitable, bitch."
Yeah,
Also, best line drop in the movie, "I am Iron Man."
yeah.
That was like, as soon as you see the things in her hand, you're like, "Yeah, I know what he's
Okay,
gonna say."
come
But
on.
you know,
I know what he's gonna
because
say.
of the
Well,
radiation.
because he
from
says,
the
"I
stone,
am inevitable," and
This
then
is
you
like-
see Iron Man.
with
and you're
him,
like,
and
Iron
like,
Man dying from it.
I-
It made me forget how much power you needed to withstand in order to use Infinity Stones like Hulk and Thanos.
We already saw what it did to the Hulk
Yeah, and the Thanos.
and the Thanos.
He used it twice, and his arm was a fucking shriveled little like dangly peen.
No, when I first saw his arm, I was like, oh
fuck.
like, oh,
'Cause that's not what it looked like.
No, I thought it was just getting worse. The wound was getting worse. He still had the stones, but the wound was getting worse.
No, when I saw it like that, I'm like, that's not what it looked like. Because I watched the movie
Yeah.
before going to see it again. Like, that's not what it looked like. I mean, it was that bad, but it wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
I just saw it as when I saw his arm all shriveled up and and his face just destroyed. I thought it was just the stone's power was too overwhelming. He could not heal him. His body could not heal. But then when I saw the stones were gone, I was like, oh,
fuck.
he destroyed the stones.
Yeah.
and he could, and I'm surprised he didn't kill himself from it.
He said it almost.
Oh yeah, I know
killed
it
him.
said it almost killed him.
It's the part where they send the arc reactor that says proof that Tony Stark has a heart on it.
That is. No, you remember the fist bump when they're right above the quantum realm thing? The right as they're going into the quantum realm, they all have
that.
they have all the red gloves on. They're all doing that fist bump.
Yeah.
The arc reactor, the old arc reactor has that same look to it.
Yeah, and then when Morgan asked for cheeseburgers.
I was
like,
I
that's a good
was
callback.
really
I think
glad
it was just really heartwarming to see Tony Stark eventually
get the rest he
Yeah.
desperately wanted.
Yeah.
His arc was complete. Like both Caps and Tony's arcs were completed from phase 1 all the way to phase 3.
That's why I'm excited to see like the torch passing on to the
I mean-
next heroes, like how Iron Man's passing the torch to Peter Parker, and how Cap is handing the torch, or shield rather, to Falcon.
I liked the ending arcs for them because Iron Man got the rest he's always needed, and then Cap got the life he's always needed.
He's always deserved.
He's
not needed.
they both deserved what.
He didn't deserve death necessarily,
Yeah,
but
but
he deserved rest, and
he
he
deserved-
finally
And he got
it.
rested for 5 years. He settled down, had a family, and then
But
he
he
made
wasn't
a noble.
rested.
He wasn't satisfied.
He wasn't satisfied still.
But
he was
made
still
them-
building his suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means he was not satisfied. Which they established in Iron Man 3, which is why he builds the suits,
Yeah.
because he is not satisfied.
He went from Mark 50 to Mark 85 in between the 5 years from Infinity War to when they did the time heist.
Yeah.
So he was still making suits, which means he was not happy.
He was happy. He was happy, but there was something in his subconscious that was not happy.
Yeah.
And
And then
that
he
was
saw
that he
the
lost
Peter-
his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Peter
lost
Parker.
this
He
kid
lost
that
his.
But
what
at the same
felt as
time,
his son.
he was afraid of losing his daughter.
Yes, he was. And then the fact that Ant-Man is the plot to the entire movie basically is,
That was funny.
but the fact that it's a fluke of a rat jumping on the goddamn thing to send him back,
It's
like
amazing.
they could have made it some people messing with it and accidentally bringing him
Yeah.
back, which
No,
would
but-
have been better. than
Yeah,
a fucking rat.
But it was funny.
It was great. It was like Tony Stark saying,
He's like, ah,
you,
fuck.
Tony Stark was like, said this, like, you survived because of an accident. It's like 1,000,000,000 to 1 probability.
Yeah, he's like, we just had to strictly follow the rules of time travel.
Are you basing your entire time heist off Back to the Future?
Oh, we were gonna say we were gonna talk about Rhodey's personality
Oh
because he
my
actually
God.
gets one.
Yeah, we forgot to bring that up in Civil War.
It's fine.
Well, we
This
can talk
is-
about it
This
now.
is mostly where his personality shines, though.
Yeah.
Is in this one, is where he's a joking character. He's not like a carefree dick, but he has like he's a little bit cautious, and he's got like well, why don't we just
Why don't so
kill baby Thanos?
I know.
Like that's awful.
I love Hulk in this
Yeah,
movie
he's such
too.
a good
It's like,
yeah, so-
damn.
dad. You really feel bad for Hawkeye though. The way they open the goddamn movie.
Now he's just a ruthless vigilante.
Okay, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw it first
that
with Nate.
too.
I saw it first with Nate.
Yeah.
And Nate had seen it once before when we saw it. This was like the Saturday after it came out, so like it'd been out for a day and a half.
Oh man!
Yeah,
As soon
I
as
saw
I
it on
saw that
Thursday
opening
night.
scene with Hawkeye, I just knew
I saw a bow. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
and then I looked at you and you're smiling at me with like this evil glare. I'm like, oh
It's like-
fuck you, man.
No, as soon as
I opened it with
I saw him
this.
go away
And
from his family,
yeah.
that's when
And
I
then-
knew.
and then
Oh no!
As soon as I saw they were having a nice day, and I see the anklet,
Yeah.
and then he turns back, and the dust. I heard everyone in the theater going, oh.
Oh, I was like that in the theater. Everyone in my theater was
Everyone was
doing the
like,
same thing
oh no.
It was
But, okay, also, what the fuck are the odds? 5 of them, only one of them survives?
oh so
too. The statistics are pretty messy.
Yeah.
but-
Because it's random.
I guess it's technically within the realm of probability.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
it is within the realm of
If you look at
probability.
it from a world standpoint, it's probable.
It's
But
just
from
not
like
likely.
in a 6-person family,
Five-person family.
in a 5-person family, and 4 of them get dusted, and only 1 survives.
And also the one that happens to survive is Hawkeye.
Yeah,
So,
but
but, you know.
I mean, when he was on house arrest, he had no idea what was
What's
going on.
going on.
Like,
Yeah,
he had no idea
fucking
that
clue.
shit was
So
going
both
on. With
Ant-Man- both
what
Ant-Man and
what I
Hawkeye
really
did.
wished we had seen was how Hawkeye came to realize. We saw how Ant-Man came to realize what the fuck was
Yeah.
going on. But we don't get to see how Hawkeye gets
but-
to realize what
we
the
see
hell
we
happened.
see after the time skip.
Hawkeye saw people disappear.
No, he didn't. He missed all of them disappear because
Yeah, but
he turned around and he
He
turned back.
noticed that
He noticed they were just vanished, but
Yeah.
he didn't know what happened. So he had to find that out somehow because he does obviously
Yeah.
learn when he's fighting the Japanese guy.
Yeah,
Um,
but
it's just they really took Hawkeye to the next level.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a dark turn.
I mean, he's played that. That was the person he was before he was a SHIELD agent.
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
know.
keep in mind, he went back to the one thing that he was good at,
Which was assassination.
being an assassin, and
I mean, other than being a dad and a
Yeah.
husband, because he was.
But-
'cause you saw he was pretty handy with
Yeah.
tools.
but like if you look at it, Black Widow
He went back to
had
being a mercenary, not a
Yeah.
mercenary, rather a vigilante.
yeah.
vigilante. Black Widow didn't. Black Widow learned from
No,
her
well,
mistake.
because she was also with the
Yeah,
Avengers
she
too.
knew
He
what
wasn't
happened.
there. He wasn't.
Yeah.
They weren't there to give him hope.
It was, and I think Captain Marvel's part was perfect. I think
For the
for
movie.
Endgame, it was
Yeah.
it was actually perfectly
Like
fine.
the Captain Marvel. I
Yeah, 'cause-
do have to say
I
I
love her.
hate the fucking all the women get together because it's
the
like
A-Force. Dude.
yeah
I
no
love
but
it. The
but
Air
like
Force
oh my god there are other places in this giant battle that could use some of the most powerful Avengers, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel. Get out there and help instead of being in this one congealed area.
They had to do that one shot to show it
No,
off.
they didn't have to do that one shot. They did it for all the SJWs who were like, we have to see the powerful woman, when they
I
could
know.
have just showed these scenes with the powerful women fighting.
It was kind of fun to see that
no,
scene because people in the theater were groaning out loud. Even
I know!
it was funny.
I was groaning. Especially
Well,
just like,
no,
hey, Peter
no.
Parker,
I-
you
I
go
thought-
to the... I hate
I
that.
thought that was
hate
hilarious.
that line
I thought-
delivery. I like how he's like, yeah, man.
It's been-
I like Peter's part in that, but I don't like... You know what? I don't know. It's like a big
when I-
sister
when I-
taunting a
when
little
I-
brother.
When I saw it in theaters the first night, like the night it came out, we were all like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" Like the moment where where Captain Marvel had Thanos' hand,
Yeah, and that was the only
Thanos
part in
would,
the movie where I was rooting for Thanos. Actually.
when Thanos just went ahead and just tried to headbutt her, but
And
she
she's
did
like,
not
yeah, fuck you.
budge.
That's a cool scene. She's
I
like,
was
yeah,
like,
fuck you.
holy shit.
And then he fucking decks her ass with that power stone.
We learned what her weakness was,
Mm-hmm.
other
Other
Infinity Stones, but now they're gone. So,
I'm sure she'll have some other weakness.
but I just
and then
that was the
everyone,
first
obviously
time.
the cat picking up the shield was not the shield. That's the fucking hammer. Jesus.
It's like, oh,
We're like, oh, okay.
I was like, holy shit!
Cap picking up the hammer.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was
god!
awesome.
I was
Like, even
Oh,
though
yeah.
it was super obvious
It
that it
was
was
so
gonna
obvious
happen,
it was gonna
but it
happen.
was still.
But I was like,
Do you
oh
remember
my
during the fight
God.
he does the knee of justice
Yeah,
to
he
Thanos?
did.
He goes.
He does it to Bucky in the Winter Soldier too.
I know, but it's cooler to see him do it to Thanos.
Oh my gosh! And he was slamming his shield and stuff.
when the shield started to break,
was
in
like-
that last scene where the scene that's it's titled Portals is the song.
yeah, that's the song.
That
yeah.
is
that's
well,
the
obviously that's the best part in the
That's-
freaking movie. Especially when they're like, "Is this everyone?" And he's like, "What, you wanted more?" And then you hear rumbling, and then Ant-Man just fucking bursts out of that's
That
like the
was-
That
coolest
shot,
part
I
in the
want to
movie.
rewatch that shot over and over again when I get it on Blu-ray
When-
eventually.
That is the coolest part in the movie. Is
like-
seeing Ant-Man there. Tom even said this when we were done. He's like, seeing Ant-Man there with like the rest of these tiny people and seeing this gigantic fucking dude, like, let's do this.
I was like when I first saw the movie, I was legit crying when that happened. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, speaking of crying, everyone in the theater was crying with Iron Man. I was tearing up a little bit. I
The
didn't
girls
have a
behind
tear.
me when we were first
Those
watching
were
were
fun.
laughing.
I
No,
hated her. I
there
hated
there
them.
were oh that I sorry that happened to you, but there were dudes to my right. Dad was there with me, and they were just crying like absolute babies.
Because it was sad.
It was sad too.
Dude,
I was tearing up too.
The part that got me wasn't Rhodey and it wasn't Pepper. It was Peter.
But
But it was
it-
how sad
yeah.
because
It-
it was like the opposite.
Yeah.
The
Because
thing I wanted
Tony
to
lost
say
Peter,
because
and
of
now
that-
Peter loses Tony.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to say about that though is that the audience almost, at least in my theater, I'm sorry it didn't happen in yours, had almost unanimous emotions, like applause
no,
at
no,
certain
a
parts
lot-
gathering each other. It
Yeah,
was amazing
that
experience.
does get annoying.
that
It was a very amazing experience to have the same emotions with the people around me in the theater personally.
when I saw it opening night.
He saw it opening night. Then he went with me to see it again.
I saw it opening night, and we were like ecstatic. We were ecstatic, and like every moment,
The hype
like,
train built up
like
to
the
this
mo-
movie
the moment
was
that
perfect.
Thor just yeeted Thanos' head off.
And he's like,
We
"Oh,
were
go
like,
ahead."
Whoa.
we knew immediately what this movie was gonna be.
Yeah, it was gonna be. This is gonna kick ass.
No.
Okay. Also, the part where Cap and Stark go back in time to
Yeah.
1971, and he gets to talk with his dad, and Cap gets to see Peggy. It's two of the best parts in the movie.
I know.
It's those two are obviously the main characters of the movie. Like
Yeah.
everyone is focused
Yeah.
on in some way, but those two are the main They have the most character development. They have,
And also their character
they
arcs are
become
coming to an
friends
end.
again. They went
Yeah.
from being separated to becoming friends again.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of assumed that in between the 5 years from Infinity War to Endgame, or like
Well, they didn't
the-
see. It's assumed they didn't see each other much.
Yeah, but
Because he says, "I'm so happy to see you guys." If
Yeah.
you were, but it's assumed that they grew. They
they
chilled
grew.
out.
They came back together and
They chilled out a bit.
Yeah,
It wasn't like they were best friends like they used to be.
yeah, but
But
they were
they were on okay terms.
yeah,
Like speaking terms at least.
yeah. And I was. I don't know if my dad teared up when he saw it, but he knew what connection I had with these characters, and he knew how he knew I reacted the way I did. And funny enough, it's always those weird. It's not with every Marvel movie. I think Endgame is the only one that really got me to cry. I mean, when I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, yes, I cried during the beginning because it was like,
It was sad.
yeah. But that was just me rebounding from like the idea that holy shit. like I've been
Stuff
with these
can happen.
characters for like ever,
Yeah.
and now
So okay. So I know you say Thor Ragnarok is your favorite movie,
yeah,
and you say Avengers Infinity War is your favorite movie.
Yes.
And they can be your favorites, but you have to agree that Endgame is the best.
yes,
one.
Endgame is the
Endgame
best
is
one.
the best one. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
it has to be your favorite. Like Ultimate is the best Smash game, but there are people who still like Melee
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
But-
It's still their favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's the best one. Endgame, you have to agree that it is the best Marvel movie. Ever.
Yeah.
That's
Period. Out of every single Marvel
are-
movie franchise that ever been made.
There
X-Men,
are-
Fantastic...
Fantastic
Spider-Man.
Four.
No,
Spider-Man's...
there are some people out there that truly believe that Infinity War as a movie and how it was structured is a better movie than Endgame.
Me.
But that's because they have valid reasons for why they think Infinity War is better. I did not like the one thing about Endgame was the choppy nature of it, how they jumped from place to place over and over
they
again.
did
But that
in
wasn't necessarily
Infinity War,
bad
too.
way.
Yeah, I
They,
didn't.
they did Infinity War. I feel like it was a bit more seamless Infinity War, but I understand why it was the way in Endgame.
Yeah.
It's just personal preference, I think it is.
It felt like to me, it felt like the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
You know, that is actually a very
It
solid
literally-
description.
It was
felt-
like Avengers. It was exactly what you'd want to be.
You
but
hit the
also
nail right on the head
that they
there.
were
Yeah.
established friends already, so you
Yeah.
have to watch all that. Oh, they have to
Yeah.
assemble. They were friends, and then it's like the Avengers you want to see with some little ones added on.
I know.
Also, Ant-Man being there Ant-Man is my favorite part about the movie.
Yeah.
He's just perfect in the movie. He's goofy where he needs to be, but he's actually serious where he
even-
needs to be too.
I mean, even characters like Loki, who didn't even play a very important part. in the
No,
movie.
yeah, where he turns into Steve Rogers just to mock him.
And then
And also,
also,
when he also the obvious the part where he's like, I can do this all day. He's like, yeah, I know.
that is America's ass. That's another good one. And then when Ant-Man pushes the case with the Tesseract, and Loki is just
Loki's like,
what?
what
What?
He's like, I had no idea that was gonna work. That was complete. It's got humor in it. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which is what I
Yeah.
like about it.
Yeah, it's just the beauty of a comic
Well, that's
book.
not all I like about it.
Because I think that's the
tons of
thing
stuff
that
about it.
people forget about this being a
It was
comic
made
book
like
adaptation.
a comic book,
Yeah, people.
but it wasn't adapted from a comic book.
I know
it was
it
an
was.
original. It was
Yeah.
an original story.
It was
It was an
loosely
original
based on the
story.
comic books.
It was loosely based on these characters. The plot was completely its own.
Yeah.
Which is what
Overall,
it's
we
great.
could say that MCU was very good in getting people interested in these heroes. Because think about it. Before Iron Man came out in
Nobody
2008,
fucking knew
no
Iron
one.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. And before Doctor Strange came out, I had only heard about him because of Marvel vs. Capcom.
I mean, I knew who Doctor Strange was. I,
I
mean,
did
he was
too.
mentioned. He was
Yeah.
mentioned in Spider-Man.
But all these
in the
characters,
original
most of them
Spider-Man
I knew
movies.
because of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Like my issue is like, coming to the future with the purchase of Fox by Disney. How are they going to handle pulling the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into a post Avengers Endgame universe? And
Not to mention because Deadpool's in the. Well, they can't do Deadpool because
they
Deadpool.
can put Deadpool in the universe.
Yeah, but they can
Like
put
I can
Deadpool in the
I can
universe,
I can
but-
expect Deadpool, like the beginning of Deadpool, like the third Deadpool movie, where Deadpool is just sitting there at the end of the battle of Endgame. He was just sitting on the sidelines the
like-
whole time
No, he
watching
gets there.
it.
He gets there late. And he's like, "Sorry, I stopped for tacos."
No, he was there the whole time, but he was just watching it happen.
Yeah, he's just like
He was just like,
he's just sitting there with popcorn.
The only
know.
problem with him being in the MCU is just because of the extremely R-rated nature of Deadpool.
they don't have to loosely put him. They only have to loosely put him in the MCU.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess so.
The only connection that they could have is have Nick Fury in the movie, and actually have Sam Jackson play a performance that is Quentin Tarantino worthy, like motherfuckers and like
yeah,
that stuff.
that Samuel
know,
Jackson range,
fine.
gotcha. But at least we're not.
Endgame is the perfect movie. It
Yeah.
is the perfect finish to the saga. It brings everything together.
Mm-hmm.
The only gripe I have with it is that they don't mention Vision once.
That is a
They do mention him at the end.
Yeah, they have to mention Vision.
They
There's
did mention
no way.
They did
He
mention
says
Vision.
they both know.
Yeah.
You don't know if she's talking about Vision or if
Or-
she's talking. It could be Quicksilver
yeah, it
because
could be
Hawkeye and Quicksilver were connected.
Yeah. It could be Quicksilver.
Quicksilver saved Hawkeye's life.
But
you don't
it's
know.
kind of more. I think it's
That is
more.
true.
I think
And
it's
he's
more
not even
Vision.
in the end credits.
Yeah.
Vision isn't in the end
Because
credits.
he's gone. Well, no,
Yeah.
you could tell that
So
Vision
he's
had
fucking
some
Iron
relevance
Man, and he's in the goddamn end credits.
because Scarlet Witch was like, you took everything
yeah, she
from
fucks
me.
up Thanos. That's one of the best parts of the movie.
Because
seeing
she took
Scarlet
a-
Witch.
because-
Everyone
oh,
knows
because
she
she
is
took
a
away
fucking
Vision.
tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She fucking decimates that guy.
It's just gonna be weird in the future with now Scarlet Witch being a mutant, and then they have to deal with the fact that they killed Quicksilver, and
Please, they can fucking retcon shit like that.
Yeah,
I think the only thing that I'm bothered by is how they're going to incorporate the X-Men. They're
I'm-
probably going to do a whole new reboot with the X-Men to fit in the MCU, not these X-Men movies that have been going on for so long. I don't even know that much about the X-Men movies.
I want to bring up the X-Men Dark Phoenix movie because they're trying to pull an Endgame thing with X-Men Dark Phoenix. Like, this is the culmination of like 20 years of X-Men movies.
But I have not given a single fuck about an X-Men
Wasn't
movie.
Phoenix in the third one too?
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
So then, like, does that one just not count anymore?
literally at this
You know,
point.
I don't want to talk
at
about
the-
X-Men. It's so confusing.
At this point, the
Not to
events
mention
of
not
Days of
interesting.
Future
No,
Past,
it's just
the
boring.
events of Days of Future Past essentially just rebooted the franchise.
Yeah.
So everything from X-Men First Class to Dark Phoenix could now be considered what is the main continuity of the X-Men movies.
I don't know.
Which I feel could be retconned into the MCU, but I don't see it.
Or they can just start anew.
It's funny. I liked watching Fantastic Four cartoon, whatever it was.
Like
on
they did
when
with
I was a kid,
Spider-Man.
but
They
I
were supposed to have
never
an Amazing
enjoyed
Spider-Man
X-Men.
3. And then they chose not to.
Because Amazing Spider-Man 2 was pretty shit.
I'm more excited what they will do with the Fantastic Four because
It's funny. The Fantastic Four get treated like utter shit, and yet I actually love them a lot.
I
They were
loved
the
it.
most popular.
I loved
They were
it.
they were the first. They were the first.
They were the first team.
The Fantastic Four was the first superhero team.
Yeah, I loved watching the cartoon.
Well,
that they
okay,
had
I don't
on
know if
TV.
that's completely true. Like the first.
No, the
they were
first
the first.
superhero-
They were the first in like the golden age of Marvel Comics.
The first they were the
came out in
first family.
1961.
They were the
Yeah,
first family.
basically.
The first ensemble team, like characters from different parts of the universe was the Justice League. That was the 1st and the Avengers came shortly after.
Yeah, but then the Avengers fucking blew them out of the water.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
It's
when you have 3 characters, and then you got 1 billion characters, and you can choose the best from the 1 billion characters, and you can only have those 3
pretty
characters.
much everybody and their mother in the Marvel universe has been an Avenger. Doctor Doom has been an Avenger.
I
You know that,
man.
right?
Yeah. Namor was an Avenger.
Yeah.
Fucking, I think at one point Michael Korvac was an Avenger.
Yeah. I don't know. I think what they're going to do with Fantastic Four is they're going to set up a phase of movies where they're going to set up Doctor Doom. They're going to have Doctor Doom be the catalyst for Galactus, and they're going to make him...
Do you think they're gonna finally say that Nowhere is Galactus is a type of person like Galactus's head? You know, Nowhere, right?
Yeah. They're
what
both
it-
Celestials.
That's yes.
Yeah.
think-
I think there are other Celestials out there. I don't think Ego was the last Celestial out there. But I think, I don't
One
know.
thing that I'd like to mention, though, is talking about all these Marvel characters. It makes me sad that with these MCU interpretations, we're probably not going to get a decent fighting game using these iterations of them, because I think they try to do that with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and we all know what happened with that.
Yeah.
I just thought that it would be cool to see just a MCU fighting game out there, even
Yeah,
though
it's
they'd
just-
find a way to blow it. They already blew it with like Infinite.
Yeah. I just don't know where they're gonna go. And
I see
want,
Spider-Man Falcon.
I want to believe Mysterio that the multiverse thing, but it's Mysterio, okay?
Yeah,
I don't want to believe Mysterio. That's just gonna make it way too complicated.
he's
It's
a villain. He's
introducing
gonna be a
multiverse.
villain.
Mysterio is.
Besides,
going-
don't we have a multiverse thing with Spider-Verse?
Mysterio is
Kinda.
lying about the whole multiverse thing.
That's what I hope they're doing.
Yeah, because he's gonna be the villain.
He's
That's obvious.
It's a Mysterio. I
like
mean,
Hydro
come on.
Man is the secondary villain.
like
Yeah.
Like Mysterio's the ultimate
but
Spider-Man
also
villain.
Hydro Man. That is a good choice for a bad guy. That is one that you do not see very often. Is Hydro Man.
They're setting up a Sinister Six arc with Spider-Man. They are doing that.
Good.
Oh, I'd love to see Sinister
They
Six.
Scorpion
want-
was also in the first movie.
They wanted to do a Sinister Six with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, and then they're
That
like,
didn't
oh wait,
work.
these are shit movies. Let's make them good.
Let's get Marvel to write our movies for us.
Yeah, let's actually have good movies. How about we?
All right, where are we at? We are at 2:42.
Shit, we
Jesus
talked about like an
fucking
hour and a
Christ.
half about MCU.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Why don't we cut it into 2 podcasts?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
that's what I'm.
Can you cut
that's-
the,
yeah,
when
I
we start
will.
talking about MCU, we can make it the MCU
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes, I will do that. I was planning on cutting this up into different like when we're talking about different tier lists. I was planning on cutting.
Well, no, but
those.
the fucking the this tier list right here, this one lasted for like 20
Yeah.
minutes at
Yeah.
most. So why don't we do the first part up until when we start with this?
Yeah.
Okay, if you say so. I'm just thinking,
Oh my
Because that's like a
gosh.
10-minute podcast. It's not even a podcast.
that's interesting. I guess so.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we just got into a big discussion about it. It
Yeah.
was good. It was
Yeah,
a good
we went
discussion.
in in-depth discussion because I felt like the other ones were a bit shallow.
Oh man, it's just 11 goddamn years of these Marvel movies, and nobody knew it was gonna happen. And Kevin Feige wanted to do it with the first Sam Raimi movie. He wanted Hugh Jackman's Wolverine to play a cameo in the first Spider-Man.
I'm
movie.
happy. I'm so incredibly happy how they can build off each other. They can
Yeah.
work things into their movies to make it so good. And
Yeah.
I'm sad that the Infinity Saga is over.
The Infinity Stones are somewhere out there. I know.
I'm talking about I'm sad that
Yeah.
Cap and Iron
Yeah.
Man are gone because they're kind of
I can live with Falcon being Captain America, and I can deal with Bucky being American Agent.
and I can also deal with Spider-Man being the new Iron Man.
No, I can just deal with Spider-Man being Spider-Man.
But he's also
Literally,
acting as the new Iron Man.
Spider-Man's going to be the backbone of the universe now because they're going to get Tom Holland to be Spider-Man for like 10 years.
Because he likes
Like, more-
playing Spider-Man.
more than 10
He
years,
said
yeah.
himself he loves playing
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I mean,
Which makes me happy
Who wouldn't
'cause-
loves playing as
Because
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is a single hero,
Mm-hmm.
which means he can join in on a ton of other people's shit.
Yeah.
He can be in Ant-Man movies. He can be in the Fantastic Four movies. He can go to fucking Wakanda if he wants to. He's Spider-Man. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
I'm just glad with the MCU. I'm just incredibly thankful to have grown up during this time where we can experience this huge cultural
it's bigger than
phenomenon.
Star Wars.
Like
it's
I like
bigger than
Star,
Star
Wars.
Star Wars.
Who? Like fuck
I know,
Star
exactly.
Wars.
All I can say about Star Wars is Lucasfilm has a huge bar to surpass when Episode 9 comes around.
And I
They
don't
have
think they're not going to reach that bar.
No, they're not.
I
Episode
don't
9 is
think
going to
it
be
is.
mediocre at best.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe, you know what? I can't say that because I haven't seen it.
I know.
Maybe it'll be the best fucking Star Wars movie ever. Maybe it'll blow everything out of the water.
but we should reserve
But
judgment
honestly,
until
Yeah.
we see it.
what I think is going to happen is that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be just okay.
Yeah,
It's not
you-
going to be phenomenal.
You're playing it safe.
but it's not going to be bad.
Yeah,
I think you have the safe prediction. The
my
prediction that will also
my thing
be real. Let's be
my
honest.
thing with The Last Jedi, I think it set up something that can be followed.
I hate that
From
they
an-
brought back
from-
Palpatine, though.
From
That really bothers me.
Actually, Abrams had said that he's not really going to play an important role. He's only going to be there for like.
He's going to
2
be like
minutes.
Red Skull,
No,
basically.
he's going to be something like Red Skull.
I think it's just to draw an interest. Like, oh my God, Palpatine was in the trailer. Just click on the trailer. Click, click, click. More engagement. More interest in the movies. That's a
Yeah.
marketing ploy.
We should discuss this another one, but
Yeah,
I,
but-
I just think Star Wars has a huge bar.
Yeah, but
to
anyways,
jump
before
over.
we talk about Star Wars, I just wanted to mention how this is just the next Star Wars. It's just a huge cultural phenomenon, and I just can't imagine what could possibly surpass this in
Can
terms
you
of
imagine
bringing
if the
everyone
MCU
together.
hadn't been established? Like, if Iron Man had just been a flop
Oh my God, that would.
and this hadn't happened?
Holy shit! I can't even imagine what my life.
Like,
would
think
be
about
like.
it. All 4 of the Avengers movies are on the top 10 fucking, like,
Box
office hits.
Yeah.
Endgame just beat out Avatar, like, yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like imagining if Smash Bros. 64 never left Japan.
yeah.
It's like you can't fathom the thought.
I can't even
Not
think
even.
of, like...
It's like if Mark
It's such an
and Roy
ingrained...
were.
Yeah, then
were
Fire...
in
It's such an
Fire
ingrained
Emblem,
part.
yeah.
Fire Emblem is...
Yeah, like
It
what if
would've died.
What if Awakening never became a thing?
Yeah.
it's just a lot of things. There's what ifs, and then miracles happen.
Yeah. And honestly,
it's all thanks to Robert Downey Jr. I mean, it's all props to him. He literally he just came back. He like when the first Iron Man movie was being filmed,
He was back from rehab
He came back immediately from rehab.
because he was like
Marvel
a heroin
Studios,
addict.
Marvel
Fuck, he
Studios,
beat heroin addiction. That's
Marvel Studios was
Wow.
hesitant for Favreau to cast Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark.
but he's perfect, and
John
these
Favreau
movies
knew,
helped him.
John Favreau knew that
These
Robert Downey Jr.
movies
was
saved his life.
They saved his life, and they made
Yeah.
him one of the most influential people in the world now.
It's
He
just
got
crazy.
He got over that.
Yeah, like heroin addiction.
It's hard.
heroin. Like holy shit, he beat heroin addiction. My God, that's impressive. It literally saved his life.
So, our tier list in the D. Incredible Hulk, because it's shit and shouldn't be counted as MCU,
MCU
because
film
it
in
does
general.
not work. C tier. Thor and Thor 2, because they're mediocre. They're okay, they're passable, but Doctor Strange. It's a good movie, but like think about it. What's like it's not
It suffers from
it
the same
doesn't-
problem as Thor 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't blow everything out of the water. Black Panther overrated. Captain Marvel overrated.
No,
Or overhyped.
Captain Marvel wasn't overrated. Captain
Yeah, it
Marvel
was.
Overhyped.
It wasn't even overhyped.
Because it was
It
like
just had a
woman
lot of-
superhero.
It had a bunch of controversy leading up to its release.
The
and stuff.
BC category, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because
I could not agree on. I cannot put it.
I
in
really
C.
I can't
I
wait
can't
to
put
listen
it in
back
B.
to this one.
The B tier, Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's a good movie, and John hates that we did this, but it does not deserve an A spot.
It just doesn't.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because it's just I don't know. It's a good movie, but it's not Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that it's not like the it's a Guardians movie.
They
It
just-
feels
It's
like
not
a
as
Guardians
memorable.
movie.
It's not as memorable.
Yeah,
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I could rewatch
Ant-Man,
Guardians
because
1.
Ant-Man's a fun movie,
Yeah.
but it's not. It in the grand scheme of things, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter that much. Avengers: Age of Ultron. It is the worst Avengers movie, but only because they could have made it awesome, and then they just made it.
Also,
Okay.
they overhyped it.
They made it okay. Iron Man 2 and 3, just because
Yeah.
they're good movies. A tier, the original Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
It just deserves it. Captain America: The First Avenger. A lot of people don't like that movie, but
It deserves it.
It deserves it. If you stop looking at it as like, oh, it's not
If
super
you sta-
action centric.
If you look at it as an Indiana Jones film,
Yeah.
it works.
The original Avengers. It's a good movie, but it has some flaws. It's aged okay.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, funny movie.
I love it.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok, best Thor movie. It's just,
Funniest
it's
MCU
a
movie.
Yeah, it is the funniest movie. S tier, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because it's just you can't argue with that. It's
Let's
an
just say that
incredible movie.
Let's just say all the Russo movies.
Yeah, but I
were
want to talk. I want to do a little recap of all the movies. And why we put them there. Civil War, just because it's fun.
Incredible tension.
Yes. Infinity War.
It's
Nate, will
Infinity-
you snap
Never a
for
dull
me,
moment.
please?
Never
What?
a dull
I
moment.
can't snap. My fingers won't do it. But can you? Thank you. That's why. And then Endgame is because I am Iron Man. Decimates all the Thanos.
And that is the MCU tier list.
yeah.
Oh,
The objective MCU tier
Yeah,
list.
if you don't like our, if you don't agree with our
every-
opinions,
I
then
think-
you're wrong.
I
And you
think
should go
every-
die.
I think everybody agrees that the four movies that the Russo brothers directed.
a
Are
lot
the
of people
best
don't
ones.
like Civil War.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to some people about this tier list. I'd be surprised if they disagree with it. They might disagree.
No,
with,
there's a few things.
they'll probably disagree
people
with
would
these
agree with
Captain America movies.
They'll
That's probably
dis-
what
they'll
they were.
disagree
I bet people
with,
would agree with
Black Panther.
Black Panther and where we put Ant-Man and where we put Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, definitely Spider-Man. I even disagree with this. How
I
dare
know
you.
you do, but it's because you like Spider-Man. You have a bias towards Spider-Man. When you think,
Admittedly, yes.
yeah, when you think about it as like an actual movie, it's kind of just.
It's just like-
It's okay. It's a fun movie.
Admittedly,
Ned is great.
uh,
Peter's great.
yeah.
It's a fun movie, but it's just a lot of why it's so good is because it's Spider-Man, and people are happy that there's finally a good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
after
okay.
And a
Sam Raimi's Spider-Mans
and
are
a-
okay.
A young Spider-Man.
Yes.
Sam Raimi wanted to do a young Spider-Man, but he didn't get to do that.
Yeah, and Spider-Man 2, really good movie. Spider-Man 2, mixed reception at best. I know people really hate Spider-Man 3, But
I love Spider-Man 3.
I don't dislike Spider-Man 3.
I think it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
It's just they really blew the Amazing
Like, especially
Spider-Man.
when he's dancing.
The Amazing
He's
Spider-Man 2 was just a huge fatal blow.
It's such a good fucking scene. All right.
That concludes the
concludes our
MCU podcast. Thanks all.
Thank you, Daddy.
And you better agree, otherwise I'll eat all your cookies.
That's not nice.